This is the last installment of the Big Things podcast. We have been doing this podcast every 2 weeks from the end of the Small Things trip, pretty much from January last year, January 2025.
We spent a lot of time on these podcasts just talking about the trip, random ideas for life, whatever, just...
Ideas about the Big Things trip,
how much
planning
we like
the Big
movies.
Things trip. For example, doing the road trip on horses.
On motorbikes, in a Corolla, out of a Corolla.
We talked about the Mongol Rally.
The Mongol Rally, very
Ideas.
keen.
Just speculation.
Yep.
Talked about video games. We talked about fighting black bears. We played drinking games. House size were big.
Good time from the Small Things trip.
We slapped each other with tortillas. We did a couple cooking episodes.
We did do a few cooking episodes.
That was just brain rot.
Yeah, if you want to see two guys just cook for 2 hours straight. We got an episode for you.
I didn't cook, I'm not gonna lie. I think I spent like over the 2 episodes like half an hour cooking. You spent like an hour just cutting. Just cutting the whole time.
I was just making sure they were good, bro.
Just cutting.
I was in the zone.
You're in flow state. We talked about goats, we talked about aliens, last but not least, whether or not you really need oxygen.
And the conclusion to that is...
Oxygen's a choice, man. Oxygen's a choice of evolution, man. We all know that oxygen is the cause of death.
True.
Oxygen is the aging process.
If you think about it, everybody that has died has actually come into contact with oxygen. So...
We've done a lot of yapping and talking shit.
Yep.
And all of that leading up to the Big Things road trip, just to make sure we stayed friends for the Big Things trip.
Yeah. Had to actually know the guy, I feel.
And now that we're back, we're going to tell you the story of the Big Things trip.
It's been a few months, we've had time to reflect, really just get ourselves together.
Now we are finally going to go through both my journal that I wrote from each day of the trip.
I've got a few little anecdotes as well.
And we're going to read some stuff like that and just tell you about what happened, what was good, what was bad, our happiest moments and our lowest moments. And
why the trip didn't work at times, why it was working very briefly.
Yeah, but before we get into what the day dot to finish of the Big Things trip, we're kind of going to give some backstory on, or some context as to what we were doing going into the trip.
Yeah, so just to catch you up on what the goals of the trip were, what it was going to be like, and how we'd planned to actually achieve the whole idea. So essentially it was a trip to see every single big thing that was on this one list that we found online. So about 700 things. The journey, as we plotted it out, was just over 40,000 kilometers to be done in 3 months or 90 days.
The reason for that was because Dane has uni studies, so we kind of need to be back from, need to leave at the end of his exams at mid-November to back when the start of his classes was start of February. I planned out this massive Excel spreadsheet that had every single stop planned in it, so we know where we're going and what we're doing at each thing, where we're seeing everything, and you know where we're sleeping every night or not, and where we're going to get fuel and estimate the costs and everything. It was a massive spreadsheet, and what that meant is that we had to follow a pretty strict schedule routine. There wasn't much room for flexibility. Also, we were going anti-clockwise around the country.
So we're going straight into the heat and the flies first.
Yes, because we're leaving in November, we're leaving at the start of summer, which is the start of the wet season in Australia. So it's hot, it's humid, and there's flash flooding or fires or both. You never know. Australia's a pretty shit country when you get into, not shit, but extreme weather events, ups and downs. And so a lot of our planning and reason for our planning was accommodating stuff to do with that.
Yeah, totally.
And so the reason that we decided to go anti-clockwise was because in the wet season, the rain is going to come down from the north at the start. And so if we can finish off the whole north part, then we can try and skip some of that flooding, the flooded bridges or the roads that we can't cross for a week, or not being able to get fuel because
any
trucks
other
can't get in there.
Disruption because of that.
Or fires as well. So we wanted to smash that out first, get all the way down, and just do the whole top and the middle first, which is the hardest part to do.
Yeah.
Then we would eventually make our way down, and we would get to, this is the most important part, the ferry to Tasmania.
Yep.
The Spirit of Tasmania books out months and months in advance. So we had to have this plan done so that we had a definite date of the latest day that we will get to Tasmania, giving us leeway days. So we'll get to Melbourne the earliest at this date, and then we can book the ferry for a couple days later so that we have some spare time in case we get stuck or break down. So if for some reason we used all of those days up and we didn't make it to the ferry in time, there is no refunds, we wouldn't get our money back, we wouldn't be able to get another ferry over, we would miss the entirety of Tasmania, and that was like a number one place you wanted to go.
Shit, bro.
Yeah.
Like that week in Tassie was going to be
the best.
A lovely, lovely time.
We were looking forward to that. We, on the trip, even said at times, we just have to get through this so we get to Tassie. That's all we really cared about.
It limited our manoeuvrability in our plan. Like, we couldn't just do things on a whim. We had to really sort of consider what we were doing and when we were doing these things. Yeah,
we did originally plan, when we planned this trip, to take my Navara. So the plan was done considering that we had a forward drive and we're going to take that.
Yeah, so full access to nearly anywhere we needed to go.
Yeah, as well as a fridge and a couple other things.
Yeah.
We then opted to take my Commodore instead for a couple reasons, which are all valid reasons, but with some major oversights on functionality and...
Just the mechanics of the car, unfortunately.
Suspension.
Yeah.
Axles. Weight.
What the fuck?
Tyres. Also, we didn't just change the car. We changed that pretty last minute, like last couple of months. And I didn't update the plans. For some days we had accounted to be able to go forward driving to a certain campsite.
Yeah.
I didn't update the plan for that. Mainly because I did the plan over the course of at least minimum 18 months.
Yeah.
And so I completely forgot. And so then when we got on the trip, we were like, oh, fuck. Not only that, but we also changed our camping equipment around. So obviously we scrapped the fridge.
We also scrapped the swags and the stretchers we were going to take, which we took on the small things trip.
Yes, we had swags and stretchers on the small things trip, but the problem that we found with them was that they were so big and bulky, and they were pretty comfortable, but they were massive. And we didn't want to take up all that space. And on top of that, there was at least one day in the trip that we were like, fuck, we're going to go hike out to this campsite because it's beautiful and it'll be really fun and exercise and shit.
Hell yeah, man.
And we had time because it was after the ferry, after Tasmania. So we were like, hell yeah, let's do it. So we're going to hike out to this place. So then we were like, okay, well then why don't we just make all of our equipment hiking equipment so that no matter where we go, where we park, we can set up our camp further away.
And we just have that versatility, which is super useful.
Yep. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means that we bought a whole bunch of new hiking equipment, hiking packs, blah, blah, and minimized what clothes we would take and a couple of other things. But it also meant that instead of using stretchers, we were using pegs.
Yeah, and the floor, the ground.
And
the lovely little rocks and grass and soil.
And inflatable hiking mats.
Yeah, they were inflatable. And that's all I have to say about that.
Now, they weren't the comfiest thing in the world. They were great if you were hiking because they were really lightweight.
They did do alright the first few nights, I will say. I was actually really happy with them.
They were solid. Problem was, the tent was fine. He bought his online. That's a problem we'll get into later. The problem was tent pegs and the ground that we were going to. Neither of us had been that far north before. We had not experienced that and we had not researched that and found that problem out before.
Yeah.
So that turned into a big problem as well. And we'll get into that later as well. And as I mentioned before, we also cut down our clothes because we wanted to not bring a whole pack full of just clothes.
We just didn't need that much.
We were going to be dirty and smelly and messy anyway. So we were just like, let's stick to one thing. And in my head, way before the trip started, I had an idea.
What if?
It'd be really good and it'd be really funny if we were both wearing almost uniforms.
Great for branding.
It would be.
I will say. Mm-hmm. Good point.
Yes. And it would also be really funny if we wore suits because over the course of the trip you would see us go from really pristine, formal to probably by a couple days to then 2 months in, we just look raggedy and our suits are dirty and covered in blood and sweat and mud, and we're now
just
down to 3 buttons and ties are around our head like a headband.
We're going crazy.
Right, I thought that would be a really funny change to slowly see over the trip as well when looking back on the footage. Problem.
It stopped being funny on day 5.
My suit didn't fit correct, and his suit didn't fit correctly. My shirt was quite nice and breathable. His shirt was tight and
It hugged.
annoying and gripping, and my pants were annoying and gripping.
Whereas my pants were fine.
My pants were like, I couldn't get them above my calf, and they were just wrapped around my calves because we hadn't worn these for years, for a long time. But I think with that being said, that sets a pretty good picture of what we were going into. This is the paper copy of the plan in all of its glory. Just this is every day of the plan. Yeah, this goes through and it would tell us where to look on the map of the big things and the route and what route we're taking. It would tell us how many stops we're doing, where the stop is, how much the travel time to that stop, the estimated time of arrival at that place.
It tracked everything.
Tracked everything. So if we started at 7 a.m, for the rest of the day, it would track what time we would get everywhere. So by day 1, we were meant to finish at 2:18 p.m.
On the dot.
We'll get to why that didn't happen.
And we were meant to start when?
7 a.m. We
And
were meant
that
to leave.
didn't happen.
Yeah, and we were meant to leave from Point Perry. So that was what all of these numbers are, and all color-coded automatically and shit. So I spent a lot of time doing this, a lot of time making sure it looked nice and had all the numbers that we wanted in. The only problem was mapping out where we were actually going properly.
Which was done on a separate thing.
And overestimating our physical abilities. So
Yes.
anyway, now that's all the context, I believe.
You caught up for lunch beforehand. Went out with Jay and Ali.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Up at Paraburdoo.
Yeah, so before the trip started, the day before, he came up, and we just kind of went over and said hello to each other.
Yeah, hung out, had a
Yeah.
lunch.
We didn't really do any like filming or anything. We were talking much before the actual trip started. Just like, are we good? Oh shit.
Are we doing
are
a
we-
trip
are we-
tomorrow?
are we-
Are we leaving?
Are you like ready?
Yeah.
I don't know if
can
I'm
you do
ready.
it? Have you asked your parents?
Yeah.
My day 0 went pretty well. I dinner that night I had with my family and my girlfriend before she went back down to Brisbane, where we live, and I went to bed ready to go. Wake up for sunrise is what I did on day 1. Went to sunrise with my mum. Just got myself ready, got myself fully changed, and then I called Dylan about 6.
Yeah, so the plan was to wake up at 6. I was going to go pick him up from his mum's place, pack the car up, put all the stuff in, make sure we're all sorted, ready to go, and then say goodbye to his mum, and then go to Point Perry and say goodbye to my mum and some family, and then start the trip there from around 7 a.m.
Yeah.
Now, my day 0, that was the plan. My day 0, after we met up and had lunch, the only notable thing was that pretty much just procrastinated going to sleep. And so I didn't go to sleep until like 3 a.m.
Nice.
I'm a heavy sleeper. I don't wake up to my alarms. And I didn't wake up to my alarm till maybe 7.
Pretty much.
I think it was
And
about 7 or later.
You would have got to mine, and I think we left my mum's place at like 8.
So my morning was a little bit fucked. I was 1,
Yeah.
annoyed that I'd slept in. I was 2, tired, and 3, was starting to get sick.
You were also just in a big rush to actually
And I was in a big rush.
try to get back on time.
Get the suit on. It's like, fuck, we need to go.
Did you even shower that morning?
No,
Of course not.
I literally just got my suit on
Yeah.
and then just, I said
Out
a
the
really
door.
rushed goodbye to Amelia and then just left. And I was really annoyed because 1, I'd fucked that up. And also 2, because, well, we had a schedule to maintain. I mean, day 1 wasn't a small day. We had 7.3 hours
No,
of
it was
driving.
pretty decent to get us, like, what,
Our first
a
day.
3-hour drive away from home in the end?
Yeah, we were only going to Gayndah, but we had to get through 15 stops that one day.
Yeah.
Plus, it was the first day, so we had to have everything sorted out and organised enough
Yeah,
food.
we were even just figuring out camera angles and
Figuring out
all
where to
that.
put the cameras. We hadn't fully, we kind of had an idea, but we were changing things around.
Yeah.
Getting used to the stuff and getting reused to filming and recording things and
Unpacking, repacking the car, how's that going to look?
and following the map. because we had to find all the big things and where they are and find a park and get out and fucking go to the thing. And so that whole thing was like a lot of stress for the first day. And on top of that, I woke up not feeling very good. And that followed me for the next week or so. At least until Cairns. I was feeling worse and worse every day, just slowly coming down with a sickness that being in the car and getting not very much sleep wasn't, and not eating very well, wasn't helping.
It wasn't fixing it,
Yeah, I felt okay some days.
Yeah.
But at least for that first couple of days, I was getting very sniffly and stuff. And especially being stuck in the car with someone else, you don't want that. It's not fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, the morning was not very good. It was just poorly thought out.
Yeah, so we ended up making it just to Coles, did our initial shopping, said goodbye to your parents and family there.
Yeah, I remember when I picked you up and we got your stuff in the car, we were rushing and stuff, and your mum's like,
I just want to take a few photos
let's
or
take
a few videos.
photos. And they were good photos.
Yeah, they were good. I liked them. But
and then we're like, okay, let's go. Let's get in the car. And then she's like, wait, let me take a video of you leaving.
Another one. And more. I'm like, okay, we gotta go.
And I'm like thinking,
we're even later.
I'm thinking, fuck, I've got to say goodbye to like my family, and then I've got to go and we've got to go to Coles.
We've got to go to your dad's as well that day.
And we've got to go get fuel. And we've got to say goodbye to my dad. And we've got to fill up the water. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm just feeling so stressed.
Yeah.
And it was not a good start. It was way too rushed. The first day should have been like 5-hour day.
Yeah, we really should
have
just...
stay at my dad's.
Honestly, that first week, we should have just eased ourselves in really nicely.
So yeah, eventually we said goodbye. Then we drove to Coles, and as we were driving there, we filmed our like little video.
Yeah.
And we were super pumped up, I think.
First post of the Big Things trip.
We're on. We're going. And
definitely rushed, but hyped.
And honestly, the posting stuff, the vibes from being able to post stuff actually really helped, I think.
Yeah. 100%.
Because I reckon by, what was it, I think 10 days in, we'd gained like, we'd hit like 200,000 views or something in 10 days.
We were just going.
But it was really fun to see because that account, the social media had been dormant mostly for like the whole year. So then
I posted a few things.
It gives you like this month versus last month. It's like plus 220 million %. It was fun.
Mass increase in viewers. Whatever you're doing is working.
Yeah, you guys are killing it right now. Yeah. So that was good. Yeah, we post some like, we're starting the trip. We posted every day on the Instagram, the Facebook, the TikTok. We tried to do the Facebook. The Facebook was a whole shit show.
Oh, Facebook was its
the accounts weren't working, and Meta was messing us around, connecting accounts to different personal accounts.
Genuinely the worst whole social media platform ecosystem space they've got.
I spent days in the car trying to figure out those accounts. And that was really annoying because when I wasn't driving and I was in the passenger seat, I was trying to figure out those accounts and post stuff, and that was really annoying to do because you couldn't just relax. You're like looking at the stupid Facebook, and Facebook isn't...
Just trying to make the phone work.
It's not... Just do it. I'm like, I'm going to call you and fucking... and it just wouldn't work.
The rest of day one was just, we got mistaken for Mormons. We got asked what the hell
because we're wearing suits, so we look a little bit funny. We're holding GoPros. We have mics on our collars, and...
We met the old mayor of Gayndah. He was our host for the night, essentially, at the campsite. Yeah,
we also spent more time in Coles than we should have.
Way more time.
We got to the gingerbread factory.
Your mum gave us a gift that went immediately missing.
Yeah, I got given a gift, or we got given a gift from my mum, and
just a little care
we put it in the car and it was gone.
Gingerbread factory,
we asked the girl for some stickers, and I remember the way that she looked at me. The way that girl looked at me was just like, yeah, what are you doing?
Am I allowed to give you a sticker?
She's like looking at us like, can I ask what you guys are doing?
No soliciting here, please.
And we're just like, yeah, we're Men in Black.
We're gonna drive.
We're chasing aliens.
We drive.
Yeah, we're doing a trip.
Seen that one movie Drive with Ryan Gosling?
Right.
That's us. We drive.
Anyway, yeah, it was more just like day one was just a stressful mix. We went to Gympie and the thing there was missing, and we were driving around for a little bit like, where the fuck is it?
Yeah.
And then we're just like, fuck, this is just going to happen.
Doesn't exist anymore.
That's going to happen sometimes. They're not going to be there anymore. we went to my dad's, and he had a great chat with my dad talking about
Got a good, nice tour of the property.
beer
It's
and
lovely.
stuff, and I repacked the car. I took everything out. I filled up all the jerry cans of water and repacked the car so everything was easy to access.
Yeah.
When I did that, I thought, okay, to make it easy to access, you want the we had 60 litres of water and 20 litres of fuel. We want all of that at the back on the sides above the rear wheel arches.
Yeah.
Because then it's easy to access and pull out because it's heavy as fuck. You don't want it in the middle.
It's not going to be a problem later.
And this is not foreshadowing.
No.
Oh yeah, we saw the big hot water system.
Dylan's favourite big thing.
My favourite big thing.
Happened on the first day.
It wasn't like a big statue or something. It was just a hot water system that was just off the side of the highway.
And it was big. And there was nothing else of significance.
It's larger than the hot water system here.
It's larger than the hot water system in most homes.
We also realised, I think, on this day that there was a lot of golf balls, or the next day.
And also chainsaws.
And chainsaws. Every still shop.
Bowling pins at bowling alleys.
Every bowling alley, every golf course, and every still shop has a big chainsaw, bowling pins, or bowling ball and golf ball.
Yeah. So we sort of just discredited those.
And they weren't on our map, and they are big things, but they're for a business, and they're not unique or different in any way. So we were like, if we went to every single one of them, we may as well have a whole different trip on its own.
We got enough photos. We got one photo of a chainsaw, and then we got a few photos of golf balls.
Yeah.
Maybe we got one bowling pin.
Yeah.
But we didn't need more.
So
you get the point.
Yeah, and then we went out west from my dad's to Gayndah, and we had a campsite on the old mayor of the town, his big property there, and he had a lot of backpackers and stuff there.
Yeah, just a few cattle farming.
Full facilities.
All what surrounded it.
Shower and a toilet and kitchen and a common area and stuff, and a really beautiful property. So that was really nice. And by the end of the day, we were like, okay, we got there just before sunset. So we're probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours behind schedule.
Yeah.
But it was fine because we still had enough time to set up our stuff and cook and drink. Or cook and eat. Yeah. And go for a run. And we did all of that. And we watched the sunset and it was beautiful. And really we were also noticing that it was getting hotter. But it was good to get out of the suits, have a shower. And that was nice. So on the first day, we went from, there's Noosa.
Yep.
So we went from about here at Noosa Heads, pretty much, to literally about here.
Yeah, it would have been just like west of Bundaberg.
It was just a bit out west.
Because we went into Bundy the very next day.
Yeah, we went to Harvey Bay on the first day.
Yeah.
Yeah, Harvey Bay was cool.
There was whales and fish. That was Harvey Bay.
Oh, there was the the Pontiac Firebird.
There was with Predator on it.
With the Predator.
That was really
sick.
cool.
It was a custom Pontiac Firebird, which you don't see every day. With a Predator thing on it. It was really cool.
Hell yeah.
Because we were like, oh, cool. We take a photo with this big fish. Oh, cool. Turn around.
Pontiac.
We got a photo with that, and we were actually excited.
Yeah. Yeah, and then day 2, we wake up in Gayndah.
So yeah, day 2 we went straight into Bundaberg. We went further out west.
Yeah, we went to a town next to Gayndah, Mandurah, where they had like a mandarin.
Yeah.
And then we went to Bundaberg. But why were we delayed on day 2?
Day 2 actually started at 5 a.m.
Day 2 we were on.
We were on. It was good.
The pack-up was quick. We both showered in the morning.
We both had a run. We both showered. We both took some beautiful photos of the sunrise and the paddocks and the cows and the bow tree or whatever the fuck it was. Boab. And we were going good. We were set up. We were ready to go. We were on schedule. We were earlier this time. Everything was looking good. We ate solid. We pack everything up. We get in our suits. We're not wearing the jackets anymore. We're a little bit more relaxed now because it's getting hotter as well.
We literally put our asses in the car.
Turn the GoPros on.
And then we go to turn on our mics. Only one works. Only one works. And we can't figure out why the other one doesn't work.
Bearing in mind, one of these is the mics that still worked.
This one.
This one's the mic that still worked. That one we had to go buy new ones. This mic, plus the one that comes with it, plus the receiver, costs about $300 or more.
Something like that.
About $350
$300 on the new ones.
when we bought them. About $300. Expensive mics, right?
Just for it to crap out.
Expensive mics. We had them for about a year, a bit over a year, and they died.
So we spent an hour troubleshooting before we left, and that put us behind.
They don't work. We're immediately then I'm on the computer trying to fix it because we had this problem before where it wasn't turning on on the small thing strip, and I couldn't fix it. It wouldn't detect it in the system. Road wasn't helping, and we just went, fuck. We're just gonna have to stick with one for now and go buy a new one at the next place at Bundaberg, whatever it was. They were $400 for the new mics.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Yeah. So that was a massive downer. One, because obviously now we're late again.
But what was a massive upper in Bundaberg was rum.
Yeah.
We went to the distillery there.
The rest of the drive though was like okay. That
was pretty good.
It wasn't the worst. It wasn't very good though, but.
We were just behind.
We were just behind schedule, and not only were we behind because we tried to troubleshoot it, we were behind because we had to go to the shops and go buy new ones, and that was $400.
And then we went shopping for rum as well.
And bearing in mind, we didn't bring all the money in the fucking world for this trip.
No,
he's a uni student.
Want to buy new mics.
He's a uni student, and I worked at the time in fast food. It wasn't like we were loaded, and we only had so much money to have problems with.
Yeah.
And as it was with the money we brought, we were like gonna have to run tight. We knew that. Yeah. Buying the mics was immediately like, fuck, that's bad. That's a big hit.
Yeah.
And that really hurt. But we bought the new mics, and then we went to the Bundaberg rum distillery. Got a big photo with the big rum bottle.
Yep.
And then went straight in, so excited.
Bought some rum.
Into the rum
got some hats.
Shop, and it
got a sticker.
We got a sticker. Oh yeah, we were collecting stickers for the car at the time. We got the Bundaberg sticker, which was our prized possession.
Yep.
And the idea was with the stickers, we would
immediately lost. It was the first sticker we bought, and we put it in the car, and then it disappeared on day 3 or day 4.
I don't know. There was like a void, or there was an abyss or black hole in the car that sucked up the sticker and the gifts that I got from my mum. We lost that sticker.
2 days, 2 missing.
For so long, but we got it. We got it back eventually, which is good.
It was a very good omen when we got it back.
Oh my god, that was such a good, perfect timing as well.
Yeah.
We needed that. We bought 3 bottles of rum as well, and some merchandise and some magnets and stuff, which again, more money. That was probably the second most expensive day.
Yeah.
And the rum that we got was we wanted to test out different rums.
We got a mango rum, which I picked out, and I actually didn't mind, but it was still a bit rough.
We got a coffee liqueur rum,
which was rough.
Which was so rich.
Very, very rich. Way too rich.
It was it was just no.
It's rum. A Lamington rum.
A chocolate Lamington vanilla essence ice cream coffee. Go
raspberry
fuck yourself.
Coconut.
Choco mocha waka fucker. Shit. It was so bad.
That was heinous.
It was so rich. So rich. It was so hot in the esky. And the lid didn't close.
Not properly. Not all the time.
It was just like, why the fuck didn't we go in the fridge? It was just so bad.
It really only dawned on us much later in the trip when we were using the esky. That we were like, what are we doing? The first week we were sort of just living in blissful ignorance because we weren't using it. The rest of day 2 is not really notable, honestly. But we just drove.
Rest of the day, we got to Alcamore Farm Camp is where we stayed that night.
That was also super chill.
Photo with the bull. Dane's tent was more of the pyramid kind of scheme.
Yeah, typical sort of hiking tent.
And obviously you think you'd have mesh on it because whatever, but his was more of all seasons tent.
Yeah.
Which meant it wasn't...
I had a little mesh thing.
It was to protect you from basically all weather, except when it's 40 degrees at night, it's
super humid.
50 degrees in the tent. Yeah. So he had just a square of mesh at the top of his tent. And it was only day 2 he realized that we'd kicked the footy around, we'd had dinner, we talked, we packed up, we cleaned, we went to bed, and then I got up and went to the bathroom. And I came back and I see Dane just standing. He's literally just standing. He's literally just standing at his tent here or whatever, and he's just like,
yeah.
And I'm like,
I was just dripping.
I'm just,
sweat.
I'm
it was so bad.
I'm walking up to him just like, hey, the stars are nice, right? He's just like,
yeah.
yeah, they're nice. And I'm like, Dane, what's wrong? And he's like,
10.
He's like, I get closer to him and he's genuinely dripping red in sweat. And I'm like, holy fuck.
So we make the plan to go buy camping fans the very next day.
Which will go to
Rocky, the actual Rocky. I still have that fan next to my bed.
I used it the other night.
It's so good.
It's banging.
It's amazing. It's just like, it's a light too, so it's my bedside lamp.
And it's got a thinger and it automatically turns off.
It's
great.
Best thing I got out of the trip. But yeah, that was basically day 2. It was just, it ended with me having the tent issue.
And then we looked up at the stars and we were like, wow, this is beautiful because there's no light pollution out there. There's no any pollution. So we looked up and we're like, wow. And we probably spent like half an hour just looking at the stars. Then eventually we did get to sleep, but Dane did get a shit sleep. So the next day, we go
Going to Rocky. We look at a lot of bulls.
This day,
so many bulls.
It's important to note that this day was the first day of the trip, the third day, day 3, that we were on ahead of schedule, 5 minutes ahead of schedule actually.
That was big.
That was a massive.
We felt really good for that.
We were like, fuck yes, nothing broke.
It was the day we needed.
Yeah, that was really good. We went into Rocky, we went into a camping store, we saw a bunch of bulls.
We wanted to go see a big dugong that was in a little adventure thing.
There was a big dugong in a park, but it was closed that day.
It's behind a fence.
It was behind a fence, and we did not jump the fence and go running through the park to find the dugong.
To not find the dugong.
And we didn't do that, and we didn't get halfway in, and then we didn't see a bunch of cars and some people, and then we didn't freak out and then sprint back.
And then we didn't turn around and didn't go back into our car.
And then we did just leave.
Yeah, and then we drove away.
And none of that else happened.
Yeah, and then we went to Gympie Park and had lunch. We went past a big camel on the way. And that was calm.
Well, we did see the dugong from the outside on the road.
We observed it and we were just like...
We saw it as we were leaving, we were like, no. Anyway.
I'll see you again in another life.
Yeah.
Yeah, we also went to St. Lawrence, that little town that was just...
Oh my god, that tiny little one. It was
and
literally...
everybody was at the bowler.
And it was just like marshlands.
Yeah. It was just all swamplands.
That town was really weird.
And a bunch of people at a bowler.
It was like we were driving up the coast, not away from the coast.
We were literally just on the Bruce Highway.
Yeah.
That was it, the whole way up.
And it was so the middle of nowhere. There was no one around. It was like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah.
This is so random. There's nothing here. Like, genuinely, nothing.
Though, there was a big crocodile in a boat.
That's why we were there. That is right. Yeah, I think by the time we got to Emu Park, we realised that we'd been shopping every day and we needed to go shopping again. And we were like, we started thinking we need to figure out a way to go shopping, and we hadn't really planned out how we were going to eat and what we were going to eat and how to make it efficient and efficient in time and efficient in money were the main things. And we hadn't really figured that out. So we were just trying to figure that out and realised every day we went shopping we were spending $50 more than we had to.
And also just time that we didn't account for.
I have to spend parking, getting to shops and finding stuff that we want.
So yeah, what happens at the end of day 3 that means we need to go to Mackay the next day?
My suit boots broke.
Your suit boots broke.
My suit boots came apart because obviously we're wearing a suit, so I had to wear suit boots and they broke.
And the sole was just coming clean off.
Yeah, so I had no shoes. I had runners, but it was like, oh no, I have to have suit boots because we're wearing suits.
Because we're going to wear them for the rest of the trip.
Because we're on brand. Yeah, the doy.
We saw a few pythons up at Camilla.
Oh my god, Camilla was beautiful.
There was nearly a little python in my tent.
Camilla, when we got there, I got the car bogged.
Sweet.
It was so good.
Actually, the car did get bogged.
It was so sandy, and so we're pulling in. We're like sketched out because we're like we can't get the car bogged because we brought a Commodore, not a Navara.
Yeah.
And I got the car bogged at one point, and I managed to get it out though without having to pull out the rescue tracks or anything. And
no harm, no foul.
That was good. And then we pulled up somewhere, set all our stuff up, and we're just camping on the sand on a private beach. No one is around. We have little nooks and crannies in the bush where we had like a little kitchen set up. The wind was beautiful. The trees were nice. The weather was great. And there was water 3 k's out. We had to walk at
As
least
soon as
a
we got
kilometre.
there, the tide was going out, and by the time we had set up, the tide was out.
Yeah.
All the way.
And it wouldn't come back in until like 2 a.m. So we
Yeah.
went out for a walk, and that
It was
took
good,
us.
because it meant the crocs were away.
Yeah,
But
true. And it took us like 20 minutes to walk out there, and then when we got to the water, there was like another kilometre of water at about that depth.
it was just all mud flats, so
Yeah.
it was alright. I got an itchy ass from
So it wasn't
swimming.
much of a beach, and but we kicked the ball around a bit.
Pretty good dinner that night. I
Drank
actually
some
remember.
rum. We
did drink some rum.
We tried to drink some rum. Yeah, we had a good dinner. And that was a nice night. And then we both saw snakes separately when going to and from the toilet.
Yeah, literally, I saw
In
a
our
snake, and then I
campsite.
texted Dylan, "Hey, look out for snakes," and then Dylan sees a snake.
Yeah, I was walking back from the toilet. Dane had seen a snake coming through our campsite. I look at my phone and he goes, "Oh, look out for snakes." I look to my left. Oh, there's a snake.
He's
And-
ready to hit you.
And he was like head up, like pissed off looking. Couldn't really see because it was really dark. I was like, "Get me out of here. Get me to my
Doing
tent."
the shimmies.
I was like, no.
But yeah, that was day 3. Pretty good sleep that night because we had the fans. And then day 4 began. We also realised that morning that our campsite for that night was one of the 4-wheel drive only ones
Yeah, so
that we planned for the nav.
thankfully Dane looked ahead, and Jerona was where we were meant to camp, which is 4-wheel drive only accessible site. And
Yeah, so I found us another campsite.
he spent a good few hours,
at Alva Beach, which is just near Ayr.
which is where we were going anyway. Where are we? We've passed Rocky. We're about
We're
here.
coming into here.
We're coming into Mackay. So this is the 5th day? 4th day?
4th day.
4th day. So we've gone from about here up to Mackay there, doing a bit of sort of zigzagging out and in. And we went to Mackay, and because we'd left on time and we were early, we got to Mackay at probably like 8:30 or something.
We were there before any of the shops really were open.
We got to Mackay at like 8:30, went to our things, and then went to the like shopping mall.
Yeah.
And
Groceries were open, so we went into those.
none of the other shops opened until like 9. So we had to wait around for over half an hour for the shops to open.
Yeah.
Then I could buy new shoes, and I bought some shitty whatever shoes, and they were alright.
How is your suit pulled up? Has it made a recovery at all?
Oh nah.
Yeah, mine's
Nah.
fucked.
Nah.
My pants actually they survived.
I went and bought a whole new suit because the pants didn't fit.
Yeah.
The shirt was done.
My shirt's completely
I gave the
done.
shirt to the dry cleaners, and they said, "We can't clean this."
So Mackay was Mackay, and then we continued on, just headed north.
Yeah, mostly just stopping at random things, get out, take a photo, and move on.
Yeah, I don't remember those two between Mackay and Proserpine. Proserpine, we stopped at the Proserpine Museum there, which is actually really cool.
Yeah, so here we passed Airlie Beach,
Yeah, Proserpine was just like, you
west
go
of
to
Airlie.
Proserpine or you go straight to Airlie.
Yeah, and we passed Airlie. I wanted to go in because we had the idea to go to the Capricorn Caves on day 1 or 2, which I thought would be pretty cool, but it was
Yeah.
just too expensive and too much time, and we were already running late, and day 1 and 2 were a bit of a shit show. So then day 4, I was like, I really want to go to Airlie because I've never been, and it would be cool to go, even if it takes some time out, but it's like, we're so far in from the coast, it would be
Yeah.
like at least an extra hour before we even have any time in there, and by this point we still didn't know where we were staying that night, so we had to say no.
Yeah.
And that was mid. That sucked. But Proserpine was nice. It was hot. It was shit. And then we went into the museum for.
Yeah. And that had aircon.
They had a big pen,
Godsend.
a big pen and a big bowl or something.
Yeah, they were there, and we took photos.
They had
with
some
them.
really cool museum stuff.
Yeah.
History
History
things, and aircon. They had an air conditioned room. And
They had some really cool.
Oh my god, we just stood under the aircon. I have a photo.
We did.
I have a photo on my phone of us just standing under the aircon, like yes, because you cannot underestimate how hot it was in the car wearing suits all day.
Yeah.
It like at least we weren't doing much, but like we still had to be focused
Just
on the road
sitting in it.
and
Just stewing.
not being able to move. Oh, it was so hot,
Yeah.
and it just got worse. Yeah, I don't know. Bowen,
that, we got to
Bowen the
Bowen.
mango we got.
That was cool.
That was cool, yeah.
We got our first bit of sand there. Day 4.
So where were we? At day 4,
we
we'd
just sort of got to Bowen,
got to
gone through
Bowen,
there. That was
museum.
just chill time. You kissed a snake.
Yeah, there was some big snakes. I kissed a snake. It
Yeah.
was not bad, but the suits were really getting to us.
Yeah, and then we just continued on to Alva, camped there for the night.
Yeah.
I abused and used the swimming pool. It was so good. So good.
Yeah, Alva was really nice.
We got a powered site, which was just a nice little thing
I went
on
for a
top.
swim in the morning, I think.
Yeah, we both went for a swim in the morning.
Yeah, so Alva was a really nice place. The only problem was, I think once we pulled up there, we talked a little bit about how much money we were spending over the 4 days. Without the $400 for the microphones, we'd probably easy spent like closing in on 1,000. Bit less, but probably between the two of us, between fuel, way like fucking up with what we were buying for food, not buying like the most efficient things.
Definitely.
Boots, just random little things, energy drinks, stickers, magnets, together like collectively probably closing in on $1,000 in those 4 days. And a big part of that was accommodation, because
100%.
all of those camping sites, pretty much every camping site in Queensland, we had to pay like at least 20 bucks for something like that. And that was just more than we'd expected. And we thought, fuck, if we have to pay this every single thing, if this trend of spending continues and we can't cut this down, we're not going to make it. That last part on day 4, I had a horrible night. It was the worst night of the whole trip. It was really bad. So I got basically no sleep. And so day 5, I had a horrible night. Day 5, I went in not happy for the next couple of days. Day 4, everything combined, the spending, the heat, the suits, everything was sort of building up at this point. There wasn't any like sort of relaxing, and the drive was just getting hotter, and we knew it was only going to get worse if we didn't do something about it. And so I went into day 5 and onwards in a very, very low mental state. And that's when we had some discussions about the feasibility of everything. But yeah.
Day 5 started, we actually packed up pretty well. We left on time or just a little bit ahead. We got a little bit of rain on our way out, but otherwise just drove on straight to Townsville, which we very quickly found out was a shithole and lied about most of their big things because they just were not there. I think we literally found one big thing in Townsville compared to like the 5 we were meant to see.
And at this point, the plan on here said get to Cairns City and go to the Scout Hat and the Captain Cook.
Yep.
And then just says camping near Cairns. So by this point, we're in the middle of Cairns City, and it just says camping near Cairns.
Just figure it out.
I don't know why I rushed this part of the plan so much, but there was no camping near Cairns unless you were to go a little bit outside or past the city and pay a couple $100, or at least $100 and something for a campsite.
And also just day 5, sort of everything came to a head. We were both so pissed off at the suits and so ready to do anything that wasn't this trip that we were on. We were just weighing up everything. We were like, hey, can we just like turn around now, go home, and go to Japan, or just anywhere else?
So we're here now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've gone from there all the way up the coast of Queensland, which is a good length, and not up the coast as well though.
Yeah.
So by this point, we've done some over 2,000 Ks, 2,300 Ks in suits, in the heat, in summer.
And also, of all days for you to have a terrible night before, you chose today to really tackle the Facebook issue.
Oh yeah, I couldn't deal with the Facebook.
Yeah, it was horrible.
I think day 5 is when I realised that I hadn't had any time off from doing anything. I don't think I'd opened my book. I brought a book along. I don't think I'd opened it.
Maybe you'd read a page.
Maybe a page, maybe here and there, maybe a little bit. But when I wasn't driving, or packing up, or cooking, or cleaning, or running, or washing, and I was in the passenger seat, I was uploading videos, or editing videos, or putting photos together, or trying to make the Facebook work, or looking at DMs and comments and stuff. Or if I wasn't doing that, then I was just thinking about my girlfriend, thinking about home, and thinking about the heat, and just complaining. So yeah, day 5, a culmination of everything, plus a really, really, really bad night, which doesn't need any explanation. Just a horrible night on day 4. Day 5, we had genuine discussions, thinking,
let's just turn around.
Thinking,
let's just stop.
Day 5, we went through a couple options. We went, 1, we can keep going and hopefully it gets better, figure something out. 2, we can turn around, go home, postpone the trip to later, not do the trip. We can do whatever we want. It's our choice. And if we have to, then we have to. We also thought, okay, we can get a fucking plane ticket home. We can fly home for a weekend for a couple of days from Cairns, and then
come back for the car,
and then fly back, and then continue the trip.
Yeah.
And deal with all of that stuff, and then keep going, so we have a clear headspace. We also thought we can fucking, dude, we've got all this money together for a holiday. We've got some thousands and thousands of dollars. Why spend it on this?
Let's go have a really good time on some resort island.
We went straight up. Let's go to Bali. Let's go to Vanuatu. Let's go to Thailand. Let's go to Cambodia. Let's go to fucking England with the money we have. We could have got to England and stayed there for 2 weeks or longer.
Pretty easily.
Let's go to fucking do the Mongol Rally. Let's go do a different thing. We can go anywhere with this money. Why are we doing this? And we were like, on one hand, we were like we are now, having a little bit of fun with it, but at the same time, we're very serious. Like, fuck this. What are we gonna do? Because we don't want to be doing this right now. Everything is just not working. How it, to make it doable. We then pulled up at the rest stop. We found a rest stop online.
Yeah, which we were thinking we were going to stay out that night.
Yeah, so we were like, okay, what we've done with the Commodore, one of the reasons for taking the Commodore, was because it had more space, really, because it doesn't have a partition in the back from the ute tray to the actual cab.
Yeah.
So it's, once you lay down the seats in the Commodore, you've got a massive, basically, double bed or whatever.
Dude, it fit both of us very well.
It was we had space, no homo. There was a...
We were in our sleeping bags separately.
We get to the rest stop. It's been a shit day. I'm pissed off with dealing with the Facebook and everything that's been happening. Dane's been trying to work his way around my pissed offness.
And also just find a place for us to stay that night. Find a place
to sleep, because I fucked up the plan anyway. And then we get to the rest stop and we're like, oh, cool. I turn around.
It's right across the road from this pub as well.
We're sitting outside of the pub, I turn around, and on this big poster, the rest stop is just a sign that just says heavy vehicles only, and I'm just like, oh, fuck.
Which, with the shit that we had in the car, maybe it was a heavy vehicle.
It may as well have been with my butt.
But, yeah, we clearly couldn't stay there. It was a bit of a desperate situation, so we just decided to get a hotel room in Cairns, and we basically made the decision we're just going to take an extra day in Cairns to recoup and do next steps, and also just plan ahead a little bit. So day 6 was just...
Oh yeah, I was also getting sicker and sicker. Like I'd already mentioned before, great,
just in general.
It didn't go away or get better. It just started getting worse and worse those last couple of days. So when we got to that rest stop, Dane looked online, he found a couple of hotels, and then he just went, we're getting this one. Like, let's just... wasn't expensive.
Yeah, it was like $80, I think.
It was so good.
It was really chill. Also, weirdly enough, the first night we were there, it was just like a weird sort of festival going on. They had the Ferris wheel going, they had fireworks as well. We
get in, we unpack, we unwind, we get out of our suits, and then we're like, all right, let's go walk around, let's go get some dinner somewhere. And we go out, we're walking around, we got dinner at that burger place or whatever it was.
So good. They had the beer steins.
Got a beer, fat beer.
Oh, so good.
Massive. It was cheap as well.
Yeah, it was.
Like not an expensive city.
It's like price of a pint.
It was like we'd spent less money on that day, getting better quality, better accommodation, better food than anything else than day 4.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Like definitely if you contrast the accommodation we had in those 2 nights in Cairns compared to like the accommodation we had in Catherine.
Yes, we walk around Cairns and we're like, there's a lot of people out. It's a Tuesday.
Yeah,
by the way.
It was popping off on a Tuesday.
It wasn't a holiday or anything like that. We weren't even close to Christmas or anything. It was just a random fucking Tuesday.
Yeah.
And there's heaps of people out. There's time zone popping off. Everyone's about walking around. There's music playing. There's live music. Yep. We get down to like the front towards like the water's edge and stuff. There's a little park.
Lagoon.
It's nighttime. It's like 8 p.m. or 7 p.m.
Yeah.
There's people out in the park. There's a massive pool, like public pool, just in like the park on the water. Heaps of people in there, live music playing on one side of the street. On the other side of the street, there's like a club.
Yeah, just rows of bars.
Rows of bars and shit. And there's like a club with some music and shit like that, and like a upstairs thing. And then there's a Ferris wheel.
We recorded our end of day in the Ferris wheel, which was pretty chill.
Yeah, and then down the street from the Ferris wheel, down the boulevard, there's just fireworks going off randomly. We get down the full boulevard, we're like, what's that sound? Turn around, there's just fireworks. And we're like, what the fuck is going on in Cairns? This is what Tuesday is in Cairns? This is sick.
It was so bizarre. It was really just so bizarre.
Refreshing.
It was. We needed that sort of uplifting.
Yeah, so we decided to stay in Cairns for that night and then the next night as well because it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was great and it was cheap.
Yeah.
And so, and we also needed the time to recover and figure out what our next step was.
Yeah.
Do we continue or do we change things?
Yeah, day 6 in Cairns was just checking off the big things that we needed to see. We had a really nice breakfast.
Day 6 was meant to just be essentially recoup, recover, and plan.
You got yourself some clothes?
What I did on day 5 as well, before we did all that, when we got into Cairns, is I called people from home and my mum, and I basically just went, what do I do? She gave me 3 pieces of advice. 1, don't turn around.
Yep.
Don't quit, don't turn around, keep
100%.
going. No matter what, because you'll regret that. 2, get the fuck out of the suits.
Please.
Get out of the suits. It's not worth it just for the look of it. And you need to be able to, 3, make it fun.
Yeah.
So even if you have to sacrifice some things or sacrifice the integrity of the trip, and not see every big thing, or whatever you're going to do, or make some days longer and some days shorter or something, make it fun. At least every now and then we have to do some fun things, not when we have nothing to look forward to. Because really at this point, the only thing we were looking forward to was like getting home eventually.
Yeah. We were like, oh, I can't wait to do the whole lap and then go straight back home.
Getting to Melbourne, we had time, and getting to like Sydney and stuff, we had
They were just going to be like breathers.
So there was like some places really we're looking forward to that. There wasn't anything in between. She gave me those 3 pieces of advice, which we took on for the next couple of days, and it, I think, really helps.
We drained a bit more of our rum. Mm-hmm. Watched some YouTube videos.
We
learned
looked
about
at
blue asbestos.
Yeah, so right about, I want to say...
Just point at Paraburdoo, essentially.
Well, there's Paraburdoo.
So a little bit to the east of it.
It's like right about here.
Yeah.
Is a small kind of mountain range.
Yeah.
And just not too far, a couple k's from that mountain range, is the biggest contaminated site in the southern hemisphere.
Whitnoom. Well,
Called
that's the name of the
Whitnoom.
township.
The
That
town,
used to be there.
there used to be a town there that's now abandoned and deleted, and that town was basically just built to service the blue asbestos mining, because asbestos was before they realised the health.
Before I realised it killed you and gave you cancer.
Yeah.
It was
asbestos,
a really, really expensive and really, really like valuable.
and they would put it
thing
in
to have.
everything. Whatever
Rips
it
it.
does, it's
Just
just
rips it.
bad. It's just really bad. Anyway, so we watched a little documentary on that, and we watched some other little inspirational travel videos. The Chernobyl one,
Yeah.
just following that path of contamination for some
just
reason.
other cool urban exploring.
Yeah, it just took some of that inspiration and a little bit of like as motivation in a way. Oh yeah, we also replaced the headlight in the car.
But we replaced...
No, we just replaced it.
Okay. Yeah, we fixed the broken headlight. And
Yeah.
then another headlight broke later on,
Yeah,
which was unrelated.
definitely, and it definitely wasn't because I watched a shitty YouTube tutorial that told me, and I replaced the high beam instead of the headlight that was broken. Day 7 was honestly, the first half of day 7 is great. The second half of day 7 was a little
Wild. Just hectic.
bit. It was like, yay, we're going back up from this really low point. Oh god.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Day 7 felt a little bit like another day 1 to me, because we'd taken that breather in Cairns and we were ready to actually set out west, like go properly inland and leave the coast.
yeah, like this is the big start.
So it was a big step. And I mean, we pushed through with it. It was a hell of a day to test us.
Yeah, but I think it worked out. It's just
totally.
that I never fully recovered from that sickness.
Yeah.
So I was like getting better. On our map, the pinpoint for where the big thing was just over the side of the river. So we had to get the car ferry over the river, pay $50 for it.
Just to go see this small thing.
To go see this big thing and then come back.
Small big thing.
Yeah, so we get over and then on where the pin is, we drive straight past where the pin is and we're like, where the
There's
fuck is
nothing
it?
there. It's just road.
And we're trying to figure it
Yeah.
out. We're trying to like look at our phones and figure out where the fuck is this big thing, and we
Pin's
can't
just
pull
wrong.
over anyway, and then we lose reception and like, oh fuck's sake, and pull over on a dirt road on the side of the road, the first dirt road we saw, pulled over, got out of the car.
We sort of just waited around, wait up our
And then just kind of stood there and we're like, this is where I was like thinking, okay, well, we need to do those 3 things.
Yeah.
Get out of the suits, which we did. We went and bought new clothes. I spent a bunch of money on new clothes. Yeah, it was like new clothes, have fun, and don't turn around.
Yeah.
But the have fun part was like, okay, we're here now. We paid to get over this thing. We're in a really beautiful place.
Let's go for a little bit of an
Let's
explore
just
if we
explore.
can.
Let's just enjoy this place now.
Right before we're about to
We
set
can
off.
do what we want.
Right before we're about to set off, someone turns into the road that we're in.
Yeah.
Just parks up next to us to see what we're doing.
Just a local.
Just some guys with a camera
He goes,
wandering
"Hey,
about.
What are you guys doing?" And I walk up to him and I'm like, hey, we're just lost. We're looking for this big crocodile head that's meant to be here. Do you know whereabouts it is? We just come across the ferry and he's like, oh yeah, that one's back over the other side of the ferry at the sort of information center,
Literally
the
just like
tour place.
Take the other turn and it's there.
Yeah. And he's like, and we're like, oh, fuck's sake. So we came over here for nothing. And he's like, oh, don't worry, you're here now. Why don't you go explore? Go up this way. You can go to this. Go up here. See this. I live just up here on this on this hill. You can come up if you want. And we're like,
why not?
He's like, yeah, the driveway's a bit ordinary, but if you take it easy, like,
You should be fine.
you'll be right. A couple scratches
no
or something.
furrows.
But he's got a real nice view. So whenever we're like,
worth
all
it.
right, sure, we'll follow you. We're like, this is random. So we get in the car and we follow him and we go up this winding driveway where the driveway was a winding gravel and rocky slope with huge divots on either side, a cliff wall hugging us on one edge separated by a gully that would have us requiring a crane to get the car out, and on the other side was the drop off a mountain through thick jungle, which again, we'd definitely have finished the trip right there if we even survived the fall.
Oh god, yeah.
However, the climb was well worth it. The view was some 100 meters high, and it was exactly what we needed. Something random and spontaneous that we couldn't have predicted would happen. And yeah, so we got up to this guy's property, welcomed us up, and we stood up on the balcony veranda, and you could just see out. You could see all the way to Cairns.
Gorgeous view, but
there was some fog.
Or some smog.
Some smog, maybe.
Yeah.
You could see out over all this protected or beautiful rainforest and this river and the mountains and stuff, and it was a really nice view. And it was just random. It was really cool. Eventually, we had a good chat and we left and we went back over the other side of the river, found the actual big thing.
Got our photo.
Got our photo, got a new sticker, and then kept driving. From there, we went back south to get back down to the main highway and then started to go west. But at some point, we got down there and we're looking at Google Maps and
it said that the road we were meant to take was potentially closed due to a fire.
But not closed, but maybe closed.
Maybe
but there's
closed.
a fire somewhere. So we're looking at it. We're looking at Queensland.
We're checking everything.
Fire radar
anything
stuff.
official is saying that a fire is maybe finished, but still Maps is saying it's burning still.
Google Maps was saying that the road was open, but Google Maps was trying to redirect us all the way around back through Cairns and way out, which was like an extra 4 hours. The Queensland thingo said there was an 80-hectare fire there.
Yeah, still going, like the fire reporting, but...
So we were like, what's going on here? So we pulled over at a petrol station, got fuel and a pie, and pulled up and asked this local who was in a truck, and we're like, hopefully he knows. Hey, we just asked him, we're like, hey, do you know anything about this fire? He's like, oh, I don't know anything about it, but if Google Maps says it's all right, and you're in a Commodore, then you'll be right.
Just floor it.
You'll be right either way, just floor it. And we're like, all right, fair enough.
I'll take that advice.
Yeah, fuck it.
So we did it.
Just went, fuck it. And so we followed that route, and the fire ended up just having been put out.
Yeah, we saw the remnants of it.
It was fine.
As soon as we got past the area that was burnt, the clouds rolled in.
Out of nowhere as well. It's
Yeah,
like
it
we
was
started
definitely out of
getting a
nowhere.
little bit dark, but then just out of nowhere, it was full thunderstorm. There was no coming into it.
Rain absolutely pelting
Full
down.
thunderstorm. Couldn't see shit. Visibility gone. And we pull over. Dane was driving. He pulls over into this side street.
Tiny little township.
And we're just like, all right, we can't see shit. We'll just wait it out. There's some trees around. Immediately, we're watching the road that we're sitting on start flooding. On top of that, we just see branches start falling off everywhere. Like, fuck, this is bad.
It's crazy.
Then it starts hailing, and we're like, shit, we need to get the car out of cover. We can't go under a tree because the branches are going to come down. There's no God. We're just in the middle of nowhere.
God.
We're fucked. So we're like, oh shit, what do we do?
We drive around a little bit.
We
trying
drive
to find
around the
cover.
corner. Dane and I swap. It's so wet, and the roads are flooding. We turn around, and I'm like, fuck it. I'm just going to drive until we can get, we can't
get
sit
out of
and
the
wait.
storm.
We're just going to drive out of the storm. So we're going to drive through the shitty visibility and the hail. So I start driving, and then in like...
With both working headlights.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So in like 30 seconds, the hail stops though, and then we get out of it, and it's cleared up, and it's fine. It was like really random.
And we're greeted with a big peanut man.
But we were like, yeah, it was not good. And yeah, we went to a peanut man.
Yeah.
And then at that peanut man, I had to look at the headlight, and I was like,
that was the wrong headlight.
ah, fuck, it's not working. And the fuse box was fine, and we're like, ah, shit, we replaced the wrong headlight.
Yeah, we did.
That was a waste of like $60.
And we
the headlight stayed like that till
yeah.
It only just got replaced. I only just got that headlight replaced last week.
That's hilarious.
I've been driving with it, just one headlight for ages. Yeah, so we kept driving. The plan was to hit Mount Surprise. We got to Mount Surprise at 6 p.m. and we were meant to just camp somewhere there, but there was nowhere. There was nowhere to camp. There was one place that was open that had some really cool history and some photos and stuff. We got a decent meal there.
Yeah.
And we made the decision, we can stay here and get a room with them, which was quite expensive.
Continue on.
Or we can keep driving and get to the next place, the next rest stop that we can sleep at.
And hope the rain abates.
It was raining, it was low visibility, and we couldn't sleep in the tents because fuck that. We couldn't sleep in the car because there was no rest stop to sleep at. It was just a bit of a shit show. Yeah, so we kept driving through the rain and on shitty roads and in the middle of nowhere and with animals and with one headlight. Dane can't sleep in the car.
I've just never been able to sleep in the car, so I was trying to get a bit of rest, but it just wasn't doing much for me.
So it's just exhausting for him because you can't get any rest while you're there's nothing.
Eventually we did make it to Georgetown. We filled up there and then we found a rest stop.
We got to Georgetown. I think we just stood there for about half an hour at Georgetown.
And then the rain stopped.
At this 24/7 purchase. We literally just stood there and then it just, thankfully it stopped. Next morning, this is now day 8. We put stuff in the car and then I had some multivitamin pills and some cold and flu pills.
Yep.
To try and combat this sickness and not be snotty everywhere or anything like that.
And the sickness fought back.
And then immediately, started gagging and felt like I was going to throw up. It was horrible.
Yeah.
And I had some fruit and I drove for probably I drove for 30 minutes to an hour and then I just went down, I can't.
Yeah.
I feel like shit.
We did stop in Croydon for a little while because I was just going through the museum there because it's an old gold mining town.
It
had a really nice exhibit. It was well cared for and everything, which I just didn't expect to find.
I went in there a little bit with you. Yeah. I remember that one. I forgot about that a bit. They just had a bunch of gold mine stuff and eventually we got back in the car and Dane took over.
Yeah, I got us from...
I pulled up my pillow and I napped the entire way to Normington.
Oh, yeah.
I was literally asleep before we got to the, out of that town.
Pretty much.
I felt like I was. I don't remember leaving the town.
You picked up your pillow.
I don't even remember getting into Croydon. I don't.
You don't remember Croydon. It's just...
I was so just knackered. It's like I didn't sleep.
Yeah.
When we got to Normington.
We had a feed there. We saw the big crocodile.
And then I got a bang.
Pardon?
I got a bang.
Oh, you did get a bang.
I looked at the back of a Bang energy drink and it was just like, death. Go fast and die. Yes. Give it to me.
Live fast, die young, eat trash.
Hell yeah. Normington was really cool because I think Normington was a monumental place. Personally, because the big thing was quite cool because it was actually not a big thing.
It was life-size.
It was a life-size crocodile that was some 9 meters or 6 meters long.
Yeah, the biggest crocodile ever shot.
It was 300 feet long.
Not quite.
That's where we learned about the Burke and Wills expedition.
Yeah, so once Dylan had drank his bang and taken over, I pulled up the Burke and Wills expedition, just the Wikipedia page, because the expedition, it was to go from Melbourne to essentially Normington, to the Gulf of Carpentaria, but way back in the 1800s, because they were also going to be the first people to explore those areas, just for reporting for the Australian government.
Back in the 1800s, there wasn't a full map of Australia like we have here. Also, by this point, now that I've talked about the map, so we've gone Cairns up to a bit south of Cape Tribulation, then back down to Gregory and stayed there. Then day 8 now, we're at Normington, and from Normington, we're going all the way down to Mount Isa. This is basically one straight road with nothing there at all. Barely a tree, or at least a tree with leaves.
Halfway between the road, they have a little monument for Burke and Wills. They probably took this path.
Yeah. Maybe. We don't know.
The whole trip is just misadventures.
So yeah, Burke and Will's story is a ridiculous story. Just an amazing story to read.
Absolutely,
and so
look
Dane
into
was,
it for yourself. It's worth a massive laugh.
Yeah, and we have footage of us reading through it and laughing about it so much, and it felt really appropriate to read as well. Because,
super appropriate.
Yeah, they took a gong though.
They did take a gong. They didn't even tell us what they used the gong for.
I don't think they buried it on the third day. On the first day, they got, I think...
They literally got to the outskirts of Melbourne, and they'd already lost like 2 of their carts.
Yeah.
But essentially from Normington and going through the Burke and Wills expedition, there wasn't too much more. When we were in Cairns, I'd found an abandoned township that we were going to camp in that night, which was also attached to an abandoned uranium mine, which was super cool.
It was so cool.
Abandoned in the 70s or 80s because that's when the mine closed.
Yeah, it was an open-cut uranium mine and a town about 6 kilometres from the mine servicing it. Mine's done, there's nothing to be in the town for, so everyone just packed up and left, and all that was left behind was just
slabs.
Some empty slabs of concrete and remnants of roads and town planning, and then a very unmaintained, basically forward drive only track up to the actual open cut mine. And so we've got into the town and we've gone, this is really cool.
How do we see the mine?
Let's go to the mine. And so
then we find this track.
We've got some daylight left because by this point we've actually figured out how to get on schedule and not keep stopping. Everything online says it's forward drive only. Everything online also says don't trust Google Maps. It literally says rule number 1, don't trust Google Maps.
Just don't do it.
Not foreshadowing at all. Yeah. Don't trust Google Maps. We
really should have followed that core
tenet. We really shouldn't have trusted Google Maps.
A lot more.
We were tired and we basically decided we'll just get to the point that we decide is too much to do in the car, and then we'll park the car and go on foot.
Yeah.
Because it's like 6K, so it would take too long. So we kept driving, and then every time that we got to like a dip or rocky part that we were like...
where we probably should have stopped and then started walking from there.
Yeah, we were just like,
I can do it.
I basically just got out of the car and just went, nah, I see the route.
I can do that.
No, I see the path. I see the idea. I've got it in my head.
Yeah, because we got up there and we were like, damn, this is so nice. We might just even stay up here.
And also, this car's great. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so we get up to the mine and we're walking around.
There.
We're taking photos. We got some sand. I took a shit.
Did take a shit. Were you like staring into a cow's eye? Like,
yeah, as
you were doing it?
Dude, there was like 3 random cows. They were just watching me, bro. They were just watching me shit. I was like, go away. Oh. Please.
So funny.
It was so bad. It was the worst experience of my life. Having to shit and not a toilet sucks.
With an audience of cows.
And then I watched, oh my god, the other people who came up after us went up that way. Oh, that was funny.
That was pretty mental.
Oh, that was fucked. But we
checked the bomb and said there was a chance of rain.
Yeah.
Whilst we were up the top there, so we were like, oh, maybe we shouldn't sleep up here.
So we spent like a good while up there. We'd eaten dinner, we'd walked around, taken a lot of photos. We'd done our recap up there. It was really nice. The bomb said there was a chance of rain, and on that last section coming up the mine that we'd done in the car was not a forward drive. A bumpy section, we're like, if that washes out even more and gets even more bumpy and hard to drive, we could do some serious damage to the car trying to get back.
Yeah.
So we're like, fuck, we better go before it gets too dark to see and before the rain makes it worse.
Yeah, and by the time we're about halfway down is when it actually gets dark. And it's also when we get stuck.
Dane had like a head torch on and we had 2-way radios. So I'm in the car slowly driving down and Dane's walking in front trying to direct me to parts that are not going to bottom out the car.
And he can just evenly drive over.
Not going to break things. And so he's directing me down and we get to a part that's like a turn and it's all washed out. It's really rocky. Rear left wheel starts spinning and then the side skirting is high centered up and we're like scraping it and it was a shit show and a car got stuck and we got the rescue tracks out and now it's getting really fucking dark and we can't see and we both get in and out of the car and we're seeing all these dents and and it was getting really annoying.
Yeah. But we made it.
But we got the rescue tracks out.
We made it.
We got the car out. The rest of it was fine.
Yeah, we got down to the abandoned township, cleared out some things from the car, and then we just slept in the car that night.
It never rained, so we could have stayed up at the fucking uranium thing in the first place. Fuck the bomb!
Bro, the bomb was not useful.
That's not foreshadowing at all.
It was just not useful, honestly.
The bomb never helped.
No.
So that was day 8. We've had a little intermission.
Yeah.
We've got some beers.
We got beard up now.
And we're ready to keep talking.
Day 9.
Less than halfway through.
I feel like 1 or 2 of these days might go a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
Wake up at the abandoned town, really don't have that much set up or like pack down to do because we slept in the car that night.
It was nice.
It was chill. Went into Mount Isa. We went just for a quick shop there. On our way to Camooweal, we pull up at a rest stop where there's like this World War II memorial thing. But that was not at all the most interesting thing that we found at said rest stop because...
Highlight of the whole trip right here.
Highlight of the whole trip right here. Tall Dutch man. Amazing guy. It was him and his bicycle and his muesli that he was just hoeing into.
This guy's name was Sven, and he had been doing something a lot more crazy and ambitious than we had been doing.
Yeah.
In a way. One day, he was living in his Dutchlands, wherever the fuck he came from.
Yep.
And he just went, he and his mate decided, you know what, I want to travel around the world.
I want to leave Europe.
I want to go through Europe.
Let's go to Vietnam.
And then Australia.
On bicycles.
Yeah.
And he did that.
He and his mate.
He literally did that.
He and his mate went from Northwest Europe all the way through and down to Southeast Asia.
Yeah. And then they split ways.
And
his
they had
mate went up and did China.
Journeys.
And Sven's gone and done the rest of Southeast Asia and now Australia. Now he's in New Zealand, nearly finishing up his whole trip.
Yeah.
Which he's been on the road for like 2 years and 2 months.
Yeah, and he explains his whole trip and what he's doing, and he shows us his Instagram page and stuff, and tells us all about his sort of journeys and stuff like that, and I'm just sitting there in awe, like amazement, like how are you doing this? This is amazing. Like we're complaining about what we're doing. We have aircon.
Even just the ride that he's just done was Darwin to where we met him, and he did that over the past few days. We drove that and that was horrid. It was actually horrible.
I can't imagine. And just with a backpack.
Yeah.
He didn't have like all his stuff. He just had a backpack and that's had all his clothes, all his food, all his water. He drank 14 litres?
Something like that.
Something stupid in one day.
That was actually one of the things he said.
In the summer as well. Like
this country just has a whole lot of nothing. And then he got to the coast and he found the things. But yeah, there's just nothing on that whole
he was saying like
he did incredible.
I was just so hyped to see him doing that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, once you get to here, you'll see all this and stick by this and go visit this and stuff. It's so cool. And he was telling us he's going to be all the way around here. And we're like, oh shit, we're going to see you in Melbourne. We're going to be at the same place. Dude, we're going to catch up with you. That'd be so sick. He's going to go through these places. And we were like, that's amazing. Once we left that, Dan and I got back in the car and we're like, we're not allowed to complain.
We got to lock the fuck in.
Let's go. We're not allowed to complain anymore because that guy is doing something way harder than we are.
And then
for a lot longer of a time.
The rest of that day was really nothing. Like we crossed over into
Northern
Northern
only a Dutch person would do.
Oh, 100%. He's from Holland. Of course he's going to cycle everywhere.
It's amazing. I have so much respect for him.
Yeah. But
awesome.
Yeah, the rest of that day was just driving one straight road. We crossed over into Northern Territory, Camooweal, we had lunch.
It was boring.
Out of the middle of nowhere, we just run into the Barkley Homestead.
Yeah, so now, we're in the Northern Territory. Once we crossed we got to Camooweal, and actually, interesting part at Camooweal, someone had DM'd us, or one or two people had DM'd us and said, can we donate to you? And so we were like, sure.
Yeah, why not?
Of course you can. Like, oh, can I get your phone number so that I can pay ID, like transfer money, or can I? Nah. But we set up a GoFundMe,
buy me a coffee.
Over
we got
the rest of the
bit.
trip, we got a little bit of money from some very generous people, and
Thank you for some food and maybe a little bit of fuel
and coffee,
and coffee,
particularly energy drinks, I guess. But it wasn't like we got donated so much money that we could keep doing the trip.
Yeah.
Because at some point that became the biggest problem, but it was a big motivator to see that come through, and to see people following the socials and following along the journey and commenting on stuff and sort of enjoying it. I think it was really satisfying or gratifying.
Yeah, gratifying is a good word for
it. It was really gratifying to see that because we were having a shit time most of the time.
Yeah.
We had some really high moments.
We had some highs, and we're definitely showing the highs a lot more on the socials compared to what we're actually feeling.
Yeah, we only briefly touched on, this was like boring and shit, but a lot of the experience was horrible, and we knew it was going to be not very fun for that whole section. We knew that was going to suck, and we knew that those long days were going to be so boring, and we just had to get through them. We knew that, but it didn't stop it sucking. It still really sucked. So it was really good motivated to have people following along and people liking stuff and commenting on stuff. On Instagram, people were like, when's the OnlyFans dropping? There was one dude, Lockie.
He just locked in.
Lockie was just non-stop.
Defending.
Every single reel we posted, when are you guys gonna kiss? When's the OnlyFans dropping? Non-stop. One dude was like, Lockie mate, it's not happening.
Yeah, nah, just drop it, Lockie, please.
It's funny.
Lockie, if you're watching, stop.
Big shout out to Kevin.
I still talk to Kevin.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. He just messages me from time to time with just random bullshit.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really respond to him very much on Big Thing stuff, but Kevin was an avid follower.
Yeah.
It was really nice to see his support and him constantly commenting on things, and a lot of people were offering us places to stay.
Yeah.
Like a couple mates that we knew from school. Kevin did. Kevin was like, I've been to this place, you gotta go stay here. And he would, we'd be doing 800 Ks a couple of days in a row, and Kevin would just be like, stop driving.
Please, calm.
We got to Taryn's place.
No more.
We got to Taryn's place, and Kevin was like, Taryn, keep him, lock him in, hide the keys.
Restrain him.
Yeah, stuff like that. And it was really fun to see that. That's what happened at Camooweal. Kept driving, and from Camooweal, it was on the border. You can immediately tell.
Yeah, the rest of it was just nothing but flat plains.
It was so flat. It was amazing, but positive about crossing to the Northern Territory is the speed limit is like a recommended 130.
But a recommended infinity.
But it's also not enforced because they don't enforce that shit on the outback roads because they can't feasibly.
No point.
So yeah, eventually we got to the Barkley Homestead. We were meant to go a little bit further, like 30 minutes further and camp somewhere. And once we put out the Barkley Homestead, I mean, by that point we'd been driving for probably at least 8 hours.
Yeah. It's not the bit down.
But I just felt like I could not go anywhere. Like we got to the Barkley Homestead and I was like, I am so cooked.
I remember you just sitting out the front there and I was like, I don't think he's gonna move.
I think you got really back in the car and I think I just went, Dane, I feel like shit.
So yeah, we got a campsite.
We got an unpowered site, but here's the thing that we haven't mentioned before in this. There's Bundaberg, so about everything north of about here-ish.
It's just rock.
Unless where we camped on like the sand around here, it was just...
Yeah, so Barkley Homestead's over here.
Yeah, so all of this is just really hard ground. I mean, you're hitting rocks all the time and stuff, and the tent pegs weren't having
You'd try to nail them in and they'd just keep bending and bending and bending.
That became a bit of a problem from here on out. Like, it was already bending some, but I was managed to like get them in enough.
Yeah.
From here on out, for both of us, kind of, but I feel like more so for me, the tent pegs were not working at all.
Oh yeah,
because
only an enemy.
Only 2 days later, you scrapped that.
Oh yeah.
So I had
this night was my horrible
time.
Night. Whilst we were at the Barkley Homestead, we ran into this other lady who was also on her way up to Darwin, and she recommended that we go check out these hot springs at Mataranka. So
banging suggestion.
Great suggestion, because it was the scene of my crash out, because night 9, I got next to no sleep.
We're in the middle of the country now.
Yeah, at the Barkley Homestead.
Like the only more middle you can get is if you go like 100 Ks, couple hundred, not 100, but like down into Alice Springs, more into the deserty stuff. But like this is
isolated. Very
isolated, and the Barkley Homestead was great. So, we had like grass, green, that was amazing.
Pool.
Trees,
so nice.
Trees that were healthy, so that was amazing because a lot of everything around, like
they also just had guinea fowl running around.
They had
I've never properly seen guinea fowl, I think.
I'd never seen them before either.
Yeah, happy hour was great.
We had a bunch of beers and we had some good food.
Figured out how good Dylan's eyesight was.
I was about to say I learned that I need glasses, which is what these are.
Yeah, so I barely got any sleep. I was really missing my girlfriend, so I was on the phone to her for a few hours.
I think it's important to note that we haven't talked about it very much, but over the last 9 days, Dane and I had probably hours of conversations about how much we miss our partners.
It was a very, very...
It was a common topic. Because it was
very, very common topic.
For me, personally, it was all I could think about. That feeling's inescapable.
Yeah. Yeah, so I just rested in the car pretty much the whole morning of day 10.
I wrote a note here. Dane couldn't sleep and was grumpy all day.
Yeah.
And he was.
Yeah, day 10 was my shit day. I crashed the fuck out when we got to Mataranka. Like, after the springs...
We both had days like that, though.
Yeah, the springs were super nice. They were so pristine, and just the whole surrounding area was lovely.
It was like fully going into a different world. But what we did see at Mataranka was the peacock, or the pea
guys.
There
were a bunch of peacocks around Mataranka, around the springs and
everything. There was a male and a female.
And I was getting angry at them because I was just angry at everything at the time.
We named one of the peacocks John, and they look vicious, but they're so cool.
They're very
and
cool.
they came right up to us, like Dane was changing into his boardies or something, and the peacock just walked right up to him. And I have a photo of him turning around, like pulling his pants up, looking at the peacock, and the peacock's just right next to him. It was really, really cool.
He was getting a bit of a perv in the peacock.
Because I had slept. I had an okay sleep.
Because you had slept, you were seeing the hilarity in all of it.
I was having a great time. I was like, this is so cool. The springs were really nice and refreshing. We sat down, we were having a little swim around. There weren't any crocodiles, we didn't die. And then this random guy came up.
Yeah, he started just having a crazy yarn about...
He just started talking about how he wants to fuck
hell.
this chick who has a boyfriend, and the boyfriend's going back to like... France or something, because that's where he lives. He was going back there with his family, and the girl's French, and she's so hot, and he's like this middle-aged dude or something, probably like late 30s, I would say, and he's like working at the sort of Homestead thing
just
for a little bit,
doing
some odd jobs like maintenance stuff, and he's talking to us about that, and that was all cool, and then he's going on like, there's this hot chick. I can't believe her boyfriend would just leave her here. Like, that's for 5 days or 3 days, whatever it was. That's enough time for the whole homestead to run through her. And Dane and I are just sitting there like,
we want to go. Please, stop. Stop talking. No more.
Dude, we left our girlfriends home for 3 months, bro. Yeah, eventually we got back to the car and sort of dried off, and...
We started talking a bit more like broader strokes, the whole plan going forward. I was just ready to cull. I was ready to cut out whole big sections of the trip, because I did not want to be in the internals of Australia anymore. I wanted to be on the coast where things were nice and breezy and lovely, and spirits were high and the beach was near. I definitely didn't want to go to St. George or anywhere at the just middle of Queensland.
He was sick of the heat, the humidity, and the...
why would I want to go to a town called Banana?
And sick of going to these shitty places that we didn't want to go, which is funny because you had great spirits when we were in that shitty little town up in North WA when we crossed over the border there.
Yeah, that was cool.
Nah, bro. I hated that place. I didn't want to go there.
I had some more of my Rosella jam there.
I was thinking, fuck, I don't want to be in this place. I was thinking what you were thinking then.
I posted a
but
postcard
by that point,
to
he
my
was
girlfriend.
happy and I was sad.
Yeah, because I had a good sleep.
We'll get to that day.
Yeah.
I start filming him crash out.
For the record, one of Dylan's top 3 favourite things of this trip was me crashing out this day.
It was so funny. It was so funny because I was in good spirits, and his crash out wasn't like, I'm fucking angry, I'm pissed. It was like, I'm not going... It was so funny, dude. It was the best. The full crash out from like, I don't want to do this, blah, blah, going on and on and on, till the time that we had like gone, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're good. Let's keep moving. Was about 30, 40 minutes. And it took me about 20 minutes to take him seriously. Let me try and find it just so I can get like a little refresh, you know what I mean?
I don't want to drive to fucking Uluru. I don't want to drive to fucking Roma. Why the fuck are we going to Emerald? That's a shit house. Why the fuck are we going to St. George? What the hell? Dog shit places. Dog shit places.
Yeah, but they have big things in them.
They have one big thing. We can go to fucking a city where they have like 20. Fine. Nobody will care if we miss the St. George bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
And at one point in here, you're like,
John, I will eat you.
you're still crashing out. I'm just filming John.
Melbourne for a few weeks. But look at John.
But look at John.
How beautiful John is. I can see my girlfriend and have sex.
So I found it all really funny. So his plan was, because all of that sucked so much and for so long, and our plan was, so we were about here.
Yeah.
Our plan was to go from here up to here and then like Darwin, and we would basically be following the coast all the way down here. I think all the way down the coast, up
All along there.
into Kalgoorlie. We would come all the way along here, all the way up, and then zigzagging through here, and then back to pretty much Adelaide, or back to Adelaide.
Yeah.
All of that section was about 9,000 Ks. It was about 9,000 Ks and at least 7 days.
Yeah.
Minimum. So Dane's plan, or Dane's idea, because he was so pissed off with the middle of the country and the heat and everything like that, which is completely valid, and it was tough, and it was shit.
It was pretty much just cut that all out. At the very least, go up to Uluru and then come straight back down.
You were like, eventually you were like, okay, maybe we can go to Uluru, but for a big part of that,
I was against Uluru.
a part of the like 40 minutes or so of his crash out was him saying, you can go to Uluru whenever the fuck you want, it's not a big thing.
Just fly there.
Just
fucking fly there. We have planes. You can go to Adelaide and get a train to Uluru. Like, come on, man. Please. Who needs cars?
So he was saying, like, we're going to go to Cooper Pedy because I want to stay in a fucking cave, and then we're going straight back down to Adelaide where we're going to stay with my cousin, drink a lot of beer, fucking drink a lot of whiskey.
And just have fun.
I was like, all whiskey, and he's like, all whiskey, all wine, or anything that'll get me fucked up. And it was funny, but he was serious, like, fuck this. And so I was laughing the whole time. And then eventually, at one point, I remember just going, why are you pissed off? Because you couldn't sleep. Let's solve that problem.
Yeah.
We looked online. I found one that is a swag stretcher together. So it's just one big bag.
Unfold it like a stretcher and then prop it up like it's...
No pegs. So yeah, going into this trip, I knew it was going to be a massive challenge. I knew it was going to be really shit most of the time. I knew the heat was going to be crazy. I knew it was going to be really boring on most days, and there was going to be a lot of driving. I knew that. So going into it, personally, I was thinking this is going to suck. It's going to be a challenge. It's going to be the biggest challenge. That's the whole reason that we're promoting it, is because it was going to be nearly 40,000 kilometer journey through the toughest stuff. It's something that no one does, and that's kind of why we're promoting it. And that's why we're filming this now, is because no one does this shit. By cutting out the middle of the country, personally, I felt like we were failing the trip. And really, we were failing the whole like original plan for the trip. We weren't seeing every big thing. And that kind of sparked, over this day and the next day, some conversations where we talked about why we're doing the trip in the first place. And I learned for the first time on day 11 and day 10 that we were doing it for different reasons.
Oh, 100% we were doing it for different reasons. I was approaching it for like the, holy shit, I want to see the country I live in and have lived in for my whole life. I was just really keen to do a road trip because I was raised doing road trips as like our main holiday. The whole thing just was right up my alley, and then being on it, I was just not prepared. The challenge was cool to me, it definitely enticed me, but it wasn't for the challenge, it was for seeing everything that I would get to see.
Eventually, when Dane's crash out had kind of cooled down, we kept driving. We got to the Pink Panther pub, which was really cool. I think this excerpt is worth reading. I said he ranted for ages and said we should skip all of West Queensland, Uluru, and basically anything else inland from here on out. I also said he wanted to spend more time in certain places like Darwin, and hated the Northern Territory and West Queensland, or anything north of the Sunshine Coast was too hot and humid. I said a fair idea, but the whole road trip was supposed to be a challenge to visit every big thing, not to have fun or go on a holiday. Whereas in conversations that Dane and I had Dane was doing it more for the holiday and the travel aspect. The whole road trip was a road trip. It was a holiday, and that's completely fair.
Yeah, despite the challenge, I still wanted to have as much fun with it as I can, obviously.
The problem was that this particular road trip was not very fun because we were doing it in 3 months. That was the biggest thing, is that we were doing it in 3 months, so things we had to skip were the things that were really fun. And seeing the big things was like, cool, another fucking thing. Like, well, we go to a museum every now and then, and that was like the highlight.
Yeah, genuinely it was. I mean, reading like the signs every now and again about like overlanders who first colonized the area or something like that. That was cool.
Talking about Burke and Wills, from
That
the way
was
to
awesome.
Normington to Mount Isa, that genuinely was probably one of the funnest things the whole trip. That was amazing. Aside from those couple hours there, maybe a whole day would go by when nothing fun happens and it was just shit. And it's really, really, really hard to keep your spirits up when I moved, since I graduated, I moved house 6 times before the thing, or 7 times before the trip started.
Yeah.
I quit my job, started a new job, quit that job, started a new job, and then got promoted in that job twice, and then basically had no time to pursue planning, researching, and practicing for the trip.
Yeah.
All the things that I planned to do to make us prepared for the trip, I didn't do because I was working. At some point, I was working 60 hours a week. I went into uni for a semester and ended up dropping out of that because I was working 50 to 60 hours a week most weeks for some parts. And on top of that, I wasn't earning very much, and I had so much work and stress and pressure, and then lack of ability and focus on doing the trip and preparing for the trip, that I went in not burnt out, but I went in so unprepared, over planned and so unprepared, and that was the biggest takeaway I took from this trip. Bold, big letters underlined in red. I was like, plan as much as you fucking want, but if you're not prepared to do it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter, and we weren't prepared. I had these ideas of things. I was going to go camping every month. I was going to film everything. I was going to get really used to everything and really get accustomed to the equipment and the traveling.
Yeah, just know the setup in and out.
And what we're going to use and figure out the best way to do things, I guess.
Yeah.
I didn't do any of that. I couldn't. And we postponed the trip because we didn't have enough money. And then when we went into this trip, we still had some backup plans, but we really didn't have enough money. And so when it was like, oh, do we go do this? No, it's going to cost too much fucking money.
Yeah.
We don't have the money. Even a campsite was going to cost us enough money that we weren't going to be able to get a campsite later. You know, things like that. There was not many free campsites. And
we definitely banked on there being a lot more.
Yeah. So, and for Dane, that was me personally, but for Dane, he's doing a Master's of Chemical Engineering, working 3 jobs, and he's also been moving house, and literally, I've seen his schedule. Holy fucking shit. It's insane. Like, the amount of work he has to do is ridiculous. So, to work so hard for a year or 2 years pretty much straight, and have not very much of a holiday or break, and to do all of your final exams for that year and then go, boom, let's go, rush into this trip.
Yeah.
It wasn't the correct way to do it. Really, this trip, the way it was planned and with the restrictions we had, it wasn't meant to be a holiday. I knew that going into it. I didn't prepare for it to be like that though. So I said, and though I don't regret it, we'd already moved far enough away from the challenge and the plan as I felt we should have. We were going to plenty of spontaneous places and doing things just because, even if it screwed with the plan when we didn't need to. In my head, we were already being pussies enough almost the whole trip, and us missing our girlfriends, that cutting out 10 days and around 8,000 to 9,000 kilometers seemed like we may as well give up. I did not say these things exactly to Dane at the time. I focused more on what we could do to make the trip more enjoyable and, more importantly, more doable. Eventually, after a long debate, we headed to Catherine, where I urged we book a hotel room and we get some good sleep. He was so tired he didn't even want dinner, and he passed out pretty quick.
Good nap.
So,
day 11 was back. Like, I was back, I was up, I got my uni results. I did well. We got some cool little history just with like gold mining. We saw another open cut mine.
The open cut mine was beautiful.
That was really
it was
nice.
massive. It was like 3 times as big as the uranium mine. Beautiful all around, a massive, like a really tall lookout over this
And like forest.
landscape, and it was like forest.
Yeah, we went through Darwin, went through like in a loop around the whole airport there. We did get to go to the museum, and that was actually really cool. I loved that experience. Remember the smashed up red car in the exhibit?
in the Darwin
Museum. Yeah.
they had the big crocodile and shit.
Because yeah, there was also
That was a
that
really
exhibit
cool
for the
museum.
crocodile that was like a man-eater or something like that.
I wasn't super keen on going. Dane was like, "Oh no, we have to go here."
That was like my one thing in Darwin I wanted to do.
I remember when we got there, I was like, "Fuck, this is awesome!" Actually,
Yeah.
especially the Cyclone Tracy stuff. I remember at one point we were in Darwin and we're thinking like, do we want to get a hotel here? Do we want to stay and do we want to explore Darwin more? And we were talking to my dad while we were there, and my dad lived in Darwin for a bit, and he was like, yeah, if you get a hotel or wherever you leave your car, like be really careful, make sure you leave nothing in it, take everything out of it, especially a car like that. With all of that equipment in it, that's going to be a massive
they've been
target.
travelling and everything like that because we've got the stickers on there.
We're just like,
let's just not bother.
Really, what do we want to look at here in Darwin? The museum, like the water, and then what are we going to do? Go drink and eat? Like, it's okay. We'll just keep going, and soon enough, we're going to get to a better, nicer place.
Yeah, so we just drove onto a rest stop that was west of Catherine, so we made our way back down to Catherine where we started the day.
Oh yeah, our two options were stay in Darwin or just drive until we stop.
Yeah, and we just drove until we stopped.
Which is really funny because it's completely counterintuitive to what Dane was saying the day before.
It genuinely was, but I was like, fuck it, we ride.
Yeah, and then when we drove until we stopped, he set up his new tent. 35, maybe like 45 seconds for the first time he ever set it up.
It was gorgeous. It was so nice. I had a lovely sleep.
Oh my
Everything was
God.
amazing. Unfortunately, where we did stop, the car got fully infested with ants, and it is infested till this day.
Yeah, I'm getting the car detailed, and it's really fucked. So we stopped over what I believe was just a huge underground ant's nest. In the car, we have at this point, 3 bags worth of food. Bread, water, sugary stuff, nuts, whatever the hell they want, and just crumbs and leftovers or chips or whatever the hell we had in the car. Yeah. Cans of energy drinks or something like that. So these ants, there's a car here. They fully fucking infested it. Everything. So Dane set up his swag, and it's really good, and he's super happy, and that night he gets a really good sleep off the ground on a stretcher with airflow, and it takes him no time to set up or pack down. It's amazing. Here the ground is harder than it's ever been, and I can't get a tent peg more than like half a centimeter into the ground before it bending over like a question mark.
You were struggling with that so much.
And it was pissing me off. It really sucked. What I ended up doing is I ended up tying the top of the tent to a tree and the other side of the tent to the wheel on the car. Because that was the only way I could get the top to stay up without falling over. That worked for that night. The next day, so day 12, we wanted to unpack the car and repack it.
And also just do like a little video for the socials of everything we've brought for the trip.
We wanted to make the car more organised, and we also thought, we should show what equipment we brought. Yeah. And we did that. We fully pulled everything out and then laid it all out. And Dane filmed me going through, this is what we brought, all the way through. Then we repacked the whole car. And then we realised all of our bread had ants fully through it.
Yeah, the bread was fucked.
And the bread was important because soup without bread is not very, those canned soups only have a couple, like 200 calories. And that bread was really important. We needed those carbs.
Yeah,
all gone. Our water bottles, which was like, these had ants all the way through it.
It was horrible.
Our jerry cans of water had ants all the way through it. Now that I think about it, our fuel probably did too, and we put that in the car.
Almost definitely.
Our car had ants all the way through it. For the rest of the day, we were in the middle of nowhere. There were hours in between the stops. And like fuck all reception. So the whole day we're just hot and sweaty and bothered and being bitten by ants on the legs and bit and crawled on the arms, and we have no water anymore because we couldn't drink because there was ants in it, and had no anything that was slightly open, any bags or anything had ants all through it. All of our camera equipment, our sleeping bags, every bag, everything just had ants in it, everywhere. Yeah. They were biting our feet and our legs and everything.
The ants were horrible. I literally just remember for like a good hour of a drive just slapping and slapping and slapping and slapping and slapping and slapping. Just to kill fucking ants.
So we explained this already on your perspective. We talked about how Dane wanted to do this for the travel and the road trip aspects and to have fun with it. And we talked about how I knew it was going to be like a really tough challenge going in. The reason I still wanted to do it, well, part of the reason I still wanted to do it is, one, I like challenging stuff like this. I like trying to attempt ridiculous shit. The other reason, which was the main motivator, is I like editing videos. I like creating stuff. I like filming stuff. We talked about this, and the I think the biggest motivator for keeping on going and trying to complete this challenge was filming it. If we weren't filming it, yeah, fucking do whatever we want to do.
Surely.
Because who gives a fuck? But if we're filming it and we're showing it to the people, then it's the challenge is what matters, and trying to complete the challenge is what matters. Because otherwise, all you're doing is just making any other travel vlog.
Yeah.
And I don't want to make a vlog. I want to make a movie / documentary / show / fucking video, whatever it is, about these really tough experiences and challenges. That was the whole, like, point of view there from me, was right in that moment we were doing the filming of the challenge.
Yeah.
It wasn't just for fun or just for travel or anything like that. It was for the creative aspect of it. And that's what kept me going through it, was we're making the creative thing. And at some point later I wrote down, the only reason I'm doing this right now is just to make the movie.
Yeah.
Like, I guess, I literally wrote, I guess we have to torture ourselves to do this, because we are. That's what we're doing.
Well, yeah, we were torturing ourselves, literally.
Pretty much. Like, we had the choice to do what we wanted to do, but we had to keep going with this stupid challenge. Because that was the challenge.
That was what we'd agreed to.
That was the challenge, and that's why we're making something out of it. Is who does this? No one. So here's our experience in trying to do this.
Yeah.
It's unique in a way. It's that's the niche. So that's why we filmed it, and that's why I wanted to do it in the first place, is the creative side of things. Dane, he doesn't really do the editing or the film stuff like that. Like,
yeah, it's just not something I've been around, so.
But he agreed to doing it not for that reason, for a different reason. So
yeah,
fair enough. But that's why we had very different perspectives on certain things, and especially the challenge part of it. So yeah.
Yeah, the rest of day 12 dealing with the ants was shit. We did cross into WA, which was hell yeah. We got to Kununurra, which is one of the first towns, and that was not much. We saw these big seed pods, which were just a weird big thing. We camped near Ord River, but not like on the river or like able to see the river or anything.
Even once we stopped filming everything, and we're like, yeah, just relaxing.
Yeah.
Still the file transfer to do.
Yeah, there was just other
There's still
bullshit,
like cleaning
bro.
and shit to do, and there's still like, there's so much less time to relax than you really would have thought there is.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you get for driving however many hours a day we were doing. But
at least we only did the
damn.
file transfer every 2 days.
Yeah, that was actually so nice compared to the last trip.
Oh my god, because we filmed all of it on the last trip.
Yeah.
Which is
Whereas this, we actually picked and choose.
which is like
didn't film
annoying
at
me
all.
right now. Because Small Things trip, we learnt that we can't film everything. Storage,
There's no need
quality, time to go through it all, and time to export everything off, because we had to export everything onto a hard drive every single day to keep using our SD cards. That took a couple hours every day, and we're like, fuck, we don't have time for this shit.
to. Yeah.
There was rain, so we couldn't do it, or the GoPro or the laptop would die halfway through and the file transfer would stop. It was just a shit show. We were dealing with so much more technology than we should have been.
100%.
But, you know, that's what you get when you have to, like, when you want to film everything.
Yeah. You want to do things a certain way, you have to just deal. Just deal.
One other thing about day 12 is I also wanted to go to Ord River. We were camping right on Ord River on day 12. But on Ord River is a lot different to next to Ord River. Next to Ord River, there's nothing anywhere. Just maybe like a couple of shrubs, not even. On Ord River is like, oh, it's beautiful. The river's nice and amazing and cool. You can wash and splash and relax, but you can't get to it. We couldn't get to it. You'd have to go all the way out through this, and there was this place, there was this forward drive track that someone from work had told me we need to go to, but now we weren't taking the forward drive, so now we couldn't even go down that thing, and I really wanted to go there, and I was like, oh, fuck. And I was just, I wasn't having a good day.
No.
Dane was happier though. We'd solved his crash out problems.
Dane's stocks were up.
Dane's stock was up. I was having Dylan's stock was very far down. In the recap, we filmed a recap for social media every single night.
Yep.
In that, I literally just slowly backed away into the darkness.
And he was just,
left.
he was done. I was shouting out to him, just like, Dylan, what'd you enjoy? And he was like, nah.
Nothing. So day 13, I woke up early and I was not happy.
You were ready to go.
I was pissed. I fell asleep with my tent thing a little bit open.
Yeah.
and it had kind of rained or something, and my phone died overnight, so I didn't know what the time was. I didn't have a phone. My pillow was wet, my tent was wet, and there was like random shit, and my thing was open, and I was annoyed. And when I woke up, it would have been before 5 at some point. I don't know what time you said it was, but it was before 5.
I think it actually might have been like 5:30, but the issue was because we'd just gone over WA,
The time zone
was just affecting our sleep, and we just, when we woke up, when we went to bed.
I don't know what time it really was, but it was earlier than we'd like normally gotten up.
Yeah, and normally left as well.
Yeah, much earlier. I think it was at least an hour earlier than we normally left, and we left a lot quicker than we'd left before. But
Yeah,
I woke up and this is where the flies became a problem. I woke up super early as soon as the sun came over the horizon. Since my phone was dead, I didn't know the time, so I just got up anyway. I let Dane keep sleeping since he only needs 5 minutes to get packed up. As soon as I got up, I noticed my tent and pillow was wet. Then I noticed the flies. There were probably 10 that wouldn't leave me alone. My eyes, ears, mouth, nose, back, hair. It pissed me off so much. After fucking around with my tent for a while, and my now 2 sleeping mats, sleeping bag, and hiking pack, I was beyond angry.
That was a weird
morning. Rolling up 2 mats and then trying to roll up the tent, and there's fucking like at least 10 to 15, like minimum 10 flies all around your mouth, and you're trying to keep swatting them away, and they're going up your nose, and it's just pissing you off, and you have a shit sleep, and everything's wet, and you're just pissed off, and all you want to do is go home.
Yeah.
And then I woke Dane up, and I was like, Dane,
We're
get
going.
up! Let's go! And he's like, what? It's not even 5 a.m.
Bro, I'm tired.
Bro. And I was like, well, I literally said, well, the sun's up, so I'm up, let's go.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized, I was like, ah, shit, my phone's dead. Ah, shit, my phone's dead, I fucked this up. Because I was like, oh, he's just sleeping in. No, he wasn't. I was just up early. I was like, oh, fuck. But I was just pissed.
Yeah.
And so I probably spent like 30 minutes packing my fucking, literally my tent, sleeping bag, pillow, and 2 sleeping mats. I spent like at least 30 minutes trying to pack that shit up, and I was just, oh. Yeah, so we've stayed somewhere around here. Now we're heading into Broome and then back down. By this point, what we're kind of doing is less of following the plan and more of, this is where the big things are, let's go to them, and then once it gets to a certain time, we're kind of just picking where we want to stop.
Yeah, just drive until there's somewhere to sleep, basically. We just want to go as far as we can, as fast as we can.
Yeah, at this point, unless there was something worth staying at or worth seeing or something, we were just some nights driving way into the night and then stopping. On the way into Broome, I think it was, we started talking about Lord of the Rings and Skyrim. And on the way into Broome, holy shit, there was nothing.
Dude, there was so much nothing.
Like it was about 8 hours to Broome, roughly.
Yeah.
And there was no stops in between except for getting fuel.
Yeah.
There was no big things, no nothing, no towns that we were really like going to see.
Fuck
It was just a full day of driving to Broome. So on that, this is now the 13th day. We have been listening to music for 13 days straight, and
we're fed up.
We've now done 7,645 kilometers and been driving for about 100 hours.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of music.
Yeah.
At some point, music gets boring, and it's getting later into the night, and we're on our 6th hour or something of driving, and we were talking about stuff, like a bit of like
just
reading and
fantasy
writing.
worlds, what we sort of engage with, what
random
stories
things
we like.
I kind of realized at some point, when you've been listening to that much music, that starts boring you, and that starts tiring you, and you get bored with it. You lose focus on the road.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need to keep focus. I'll talk to Dane, that'll keep me engaged, and I'll stay focused. And then I went to Dane, and I was like, explain Lord of the Rings to me.
And I launched
because we were talking about fantasy stuff, and he was saying how much he loves Lord of the Rings, and he used to be super into it and know everything about it.
Yeah.
He spent like at least an hour, maybe more.
Yeah, I'd say a bit more.
Bit more than an hour explaining all the way from like the books from The Hobbit to the end of the Lord of the Rings series, plus part of the Silmarillion.
Yeah.
And
just
stuff.
the basic stuff. I haven't read all of the Silmarillion.
Yeah, and just basically explaining all about the universe and what happens in the story and stuff like that. And I was so into it. I was like, fuck, this is hype. This is awesome. Hell yeah. And then it was really cool. It was actually really, really interesting to hear him explain all that stuff. And
so in return, Dylan launched into the whole Skyrim rant and gave me like the whole background to Skyrim and all the other adjacent games.
Unfortunately, I can't give a good enough background, as detailed background into the story of the Elder Scrolls. But I know enough about Skyrim and the kind of little bit of the history of the Elder Scrolls stuff, but basically just two different fantasy worlds that we just explained to each other that were just, I think, perfect to do. Because it was such a good escapism to just think about these fantasy worlds that we've both separately lost ourselves in the past. So it was good to just kind of get back into it in thought, at least.
Just absolutely ages away from this fucking road that we were stuck on.
Now, some people, like my mum, had talked up Broome a lot. Oh, the beach is amazing.
I hadn't really heard anything about Broome going into it. So
yeah. Lucky you. So I was very disappointed because I was really hyped for Broome. I was like, oh, the beach is awesome. I'm so excited to go for a swim. We're driving over 8 hours on this day to get to one town, and all I wanted to do was go for a swim. Yeah. We got there and we couldn't. There was a big fat sign there. I was going like, oh no, you can't swim.
Got sand, got Macca's, left. Yeah, drove for another 2 hours, pulled up at a random rest stop, and this was a good rest stop to pull up at.
Oh yeah, it was. One problem, there were a lot of flies, more flies than there were before. A lot, and it was really pissing me off. I hated it. I fucking hated it so much. I decided on this night that I was going to sleep in the car, and the problem was there's too many flies in the car, so I had to take the car for a drive to try and air out the car and get the flies out. But we just slowly noticed these kittens.
Yeah, there's just
tiny little
four little stray cats just hanging out, just sort of peering at us from across.
It was so cool. So we're just taking photos of them, trying to get close. They're real skittish, just wild cats. We ended up naming them. We named one of them Optimus Prime. No idea why that one.
Yep.
A little bit bigger with a black and yellowish tan leopard print on it. We named that one Optimus Prime. Another one is black and grey and has prominent stripes. We called that one Tigger. And it's definitely the most relaxed of the bunch, and I got to pat it a few times. Another one is even smaller than the rest, and he has much lighter fur and less stripes. We called that one Jimmy. And the last one is called Megatron. That one is less recognizable, but it has fairly prominent stripes and a darker back. And aside from that, now that I slept in the car, I had a really good sleep.
Day 14.
Good day. Shit day, actually.
Horrible day. It ended horribly.
But
it was a good day.
Yeah, so we met up with Dane's cousin. He lived there for ages, and he gave us a really cool tour of the whole shipping and mining part of the town and stuff.
All the cool parts. He let us see, he just gave us good perspective on everything that goes down in the town, like how busy the actual, you could call it a city, but it's really just the port.
Yeah.
Is.
And then he said, like, we have to go to the Karijini National Park.
Because we won't regret it. According to him, it is the most beautiful national park, at least in WA, but even in all Australia.
I had to go a little bit west to go do it, and Karijini National Park is quite close to Whitneham. So close, in fact, that there are signs.
Set of gorges.
Yeah, same gorges, same blue asbestos. So there were signs at the national park, and after we had made so many jokes about blue asbestos and reactor 4G
and potentially going there,
reactor 4G and shit. What the fuck were we talking about? We were so brave on all of our comedy and humor and shit. Comedy. All of our comedy and humour and shit was just broken by this point because we're just only talking to each other and occasionally the other person at the gas station. There were like blue asbestos signs and stuff. We were laughing our ass off. So after we left Port Hedland, we pretty much headed straight for the Karijini Gorges. At this point, we're about here actually. Still north of Paraburdoo.
Sure.
We're about there. Whitneham would have been about there, maybe.
Yeah.
And that's where all those sort of like mountains and the contaminated area was. It was so close that we genuinely debated, oh, we should go to Whitneham because it'd be a really cool place to go to. Yeah. Maybe like reduce your life by quite a bit. Just by like a smidge, but it'll give you but as long as actually even we mentioned it to Dane's cousin and he was like, oh yeah, me and my mates used to go into the gorges, like into the mine, into Whitneham.
You'd wait until it rained, and then because of the rain, like the dust didn't kick up so much, then you just go play around in the blue asbestos at Whitneham. Like, what the fuck?
Just go play around in the blue asbestos because it was rain, so it's fine, right?
Yeah,
but he was fine.
Issues.
So we kind of debated doing that, but we're like, no, we'll just go to Karijini. So we were on the way there, and at this point, it was like, the goal at this point was like, okay, we'll go to Karijini, we'll camp at Karijini. There'll be a place there we can camp. At about 5:30, I think it was, we were on the highway towards Karijini, middle of nowhere.
We were coming up to a roadhouse, the Osky Roadhouse.
We're about 15 minutes away from it. We hear this knocking noise coming from the rear left wheel, and it didn't sound like a... So we immediately pulled over. There's no shoulder on this highway as well, so we just like, pulled over like on this dirt on the side of this rocks. And I remember we pulled over and I got out of the car and I was like, holy fuck, it is so hot. It's 5:30 p.m. It was still 40 degrees at 5:30. 40 fucking degrees. That's so ridiculously hot. And so we get out and we're having a look at the wheel, and we noticed that like some of the sort of fabric cladding around the wheel well, which I believe is just for like sort of soundproofing, had sort of ripped off. And so our thought was that
just the cladding.
The cladding had fallen off and was rubbing on the wheel and hitting the wheel, and that's what was creating the knocking sound.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay.
Dig around a little bit more, you actually pull off some rubber.
We pull off some of that cladding to stop that from happening, and I'm looking at the wheels, and I'm looking at like the other wheel, and looking at that wheel. And then I noticed inner half of the wheel is like shredded down, and it's shredded down so much I can see the wire. And I'm like, why the fuck is that happening? Oh, it must be because the cladding that was ripped off is rubbing against the wheel. So we rip a bunch of the cladding off, and we're like, fuck, okay, we're not gonna make it very far. We have to change this tire over because this is shredded to pieces. This is really bad, like really bad. So we basically limp the car all the way down the road to the roadhouse. We stop there, we get a room, and it's now dark, and it's still like 35, 40 degrees. And we're like, we need to save money because we're concerned about how much money we've had to spend already on everything. We try and cook in the room. Yeah,
because we just bought some sausages that day, and then we were just going to cook them up.
We bought sausages and we put them in the esky, but we had to cook them that day or they were going to heat up too much in the car. So we had to cook them, and then we could... And so I tried to cook all these sausages, and the smoke alarm was just going off so much constantly. So eventually I had to can the cooking a little bit. Yeah. We were so dirty. We hadn't had a shower since Barkley Homestead. Yeah. Barkley Homestead.
Oh, and no, the hotel at Catherine. I had a shower there.
We called a place and they said, oh yeah, we don't have that tire. We'll be able to get it Wednesday. So that was 5 days away, and that was the like closest place to us. It was like another 5-day wait. We don't have fucking 5 days to wait.
I think even then that was up at Exmouth.
That was Exmouth, yeah.
Come on.
So we were kind of going that direction from Karijini anyway, but we're like, fuck, we can't wait 5 days. What are we gonna do? Or something like this. So it was a bit of a stress. It was a shit situation. It was our first like real breakdown that we had to sort of figure out. We eventually, after relaxing for a little bit and trying to cook, and that wasn't working, went out to the car. We jacked the car up, took off the wheel. We also ripped off more of the plastic cladding, like cut some of it off and stuff, because for some reason we thought that cladding, that plastic cladding for like soundproofing, was what was shredding the tire.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes sense at 100 k's an hour. Like, yeah,
that was
sure.
their running theory.
That was the idea. And the next day, we headed straight into Karijini, which we weren't very far away from. So day 15, we get to Karijini.
Beautiful gorge, just sort of filled with like amazing flora that we didn't expect to see in the middle of the desert.
Oh yeah, we only changed the tire at 9:30 p.m.
Yeah.
It was a late one. It sucked.
That was a shitter, bro.
Yeah, I wrote here, it was like looking into a different world. When we looked over the lookout over like one part of the gorges and stuff, and that's where we had like the blue asbestos signs come up, and we were kind of laughing about that. That was funny.
But yeah, then you walk to the edge
and you could see in the rocks like some blue streaks, and you could see the blue asbestos, and we were like, oh,
super
this is cool and fucked and like really cool.
But yeah, you come to the edge and you look like 50 meters down, and it's just this lovely sort of oasis, and it's surrounded by trees and ferns and everything. It's just wet.
I remember vividly there being a tree coming out of the side of the cliff, coming out, like the trunk coming out and then bending straight up, and I was like, this is so cool. And as you look down, you look up, it's desert, dust, red. You look down through the cliffs and stuff into the gorge, there's water and green trees, and it just looks like a rainforest. It genuinely looked like you were looking from into a different, complete world. It was awesome.
The water was so lovely and cold.
There was signs warning of hypothermia.
Yeah.
Because the water gets so cold in there, and the water comes from
Especially
these other
during
streams.
winter.
We were going in summer, and the water was so cold, and you definitely could have got hypothermia. That we didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't believe it going in. I was like, it's like summer. It's hot as fuck. In the gorges, it was a lot cooler.
Yeah.
In the water, oh my god. And so one of the things that Dane's cousin had recommended was that we swim out from one part of this like lagoon sort of section.
It was just like a big pool area.
Yeah, we had to swim out down to the waterfall, and you can sit up on the rocks and lay under the waterfall, and it's like a massage.
Just put your shoulders underneath it and just get it all like nice.
Yeah, put your shoulders and neck
eyes.
underneath it, and you're looking out from behind the waterfall at these beautiful green trees and these rocks and these bats in the trees and stuff like that. It was so worth everything. And everything, it was amazing. It was really good.
Like everything leading up to then was worth it.
Yeah.
Somehow.
It really, really made everything from here on out was worth it. Everything, actually, you know what, generally everything from here on out, because now we're day 15, there's only 6 days left.
Well, literally we got into the pool and then maybe 3 hours later we came to
The worst part of the trip.
our realization.
Yeah, it was not good.
Yeah, so we
But even then, like, our spirits were so much better
Yeah.
than those first 12 days, 11 days.
definitely.
From here on out, we kind of figured everything out. What we didn't have was a working car.
Yeah.
So yeah, but we debated staying here
For at least a night.
and a common theme that kept coming up was, should we stay or should we go?
God.
Because we just kept wanting to stay in places, but we kept feeling like we needed to go, and we had to debate that a lot. And here we really debated whether we should stay or go, but we were worried because we needed to fix a tire, and we were worried because we needed to like keep moving back onto the coast and
to get
stuff.
to civilization so we could fix the car.
And we didn't really know what was going on with the car at this point. So because we were debating this, what we decided to do is we went back to the car, and then we decided, you know what, we're pretty comfortable if we keep going. So we went and we kept going down the track, and we went to the gift shop museum. The museum, which had a gift shop in it, it had so much history of the mining around the area, and the blue asbestos, and all the animals and stuff.
Dude, that gift shop was such good quality.
Yeah.
I loved it.
When we got back into the car, we started here, this part, the 3 concerns. I had 3 main concerns, which we kind of talked about. Those concerns were mostly of a couple continued themes. Firstly, we had spent about $2,000 each in the past 2 weeks. Most of that was on fuel, food, but also souvenirs and gifts, a little on clothing, and a decent share on accommodation. Our budget, because we kept getting in hotels every now and then, because, yeah, we just...
The budget just kept getting tighter.
When the morale was low, it was like, hotel, okay, we're good.
Yeah.
Our budget was already quite tight, but this trip was only feasible if everything worked to plan and we had minor inconveniences. Obviously, so like the Rode microphone's not working. That's a pretty major inconvenience. $400 to get new microphones to film this shit. Obviously, we're not worried that we've changed the plan a fair bit. We want to be able to enjoy the trip. At this time in our lives, with the behind-the-scenes events of the past year or two, this trip is kind of the icing on a very difficult-to-eat cake, which I think is a great analogy.
For sure it is.
It's like a cake that's gone off. And
It's the stale cake.
and we've just put this icing on it. It's shit icing. And we're trying to eat this cake now. Essentially, we honestly weren't mentally, physically, financially, mechanically, logistically, or even intellectually prepared to undertake such a strenuous challenge like the Big Things thing. If we continue this trend of spending, we have enough money to make it to day 45
halfway through.
before we'd completely run out. Thus, we've mentioned the possibilities of having to go home early due to our finances. At this point, we're just about failing the trip, or at least the main original purpose of the trip, on every level. Maybe we haven't actually failed anything yet, though we've come very close, but we have agreed to cut a large portion of the most difficult part of the trip, which means no matter what, we're not completing the trip. A second concern we had was with getting the car tire replaced. The shop at Exmouth told us they wouldn't be able to replace it till Wednesday, 5 days, so we're going to be on the spare for over 1,000 kilometers plus easily. Unfortunately, 90% of that driving is either on the highway, 30 kilometers over the limit of the spare, or on rough gravel and bumpy mine access routes.
Yeah, we definitely didn't do 1,000 Ks on that spare.
It didn't last 1,000 Ks.
Lasted maybe 100.
So we're essentially just going to have to put up with it and hope and pray it holds up. We didn't pray hard enough.
No.
Our last concern is mostly that we are multiple days and thousands upon thousands of kilometers away from our girlfriends on the other side of the continent.
Yeah, genuinely, we decided to pick the furthest possible, way away we could be for not only the car to start having issues and, having the issues that was already having become apparent, but that's when we decided to sort of just hang up the trip and be like, well, we've come so far, we've given it a fair crack.
Hey, we went all the way around at the end.
Yeah, exactly. We did a lap. Who cares?
Yeah.
Add both the trips, and that is a genuine lap.
So it was 6,000 kilometers. We broke down 6,000 kilometers from home.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah, we're on corrugated road, probably going it a little bit too fast, but we just wanted to see the end, and then about 1 kilometre from the end of that road, there goes the spare.
Yeah, so the route that we'd taken wasn't on the highways or main roads or something. It was essentially a mine access route that only existed to cut through the property.
And it wasn't even all taken care of.
And for some reason we were taking that. I think it was just a shortcut instead of going around the property.
So it was like Google Maps
it was
like,
basically
hey,
going
you can
through the
save
property.
Time.
We were a little bit worried, a little bit stressed out about it, and then eventually we hear the banging, knocking noise again.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
It started.
We quickly stop and pull over. This time, the cladding hadn't come off. What had come off was the rubber on the fucking spare.
Yeah.
The rubber and the wire included. We were driving now on the tube.
It was fully flipping,
The tube.
So stupid.
We were driving on the tube. The rubber, the tread, the tire, wire was fully opened up at some point.
Just raised from the surface.
And so that was going around and now hitting the wheel arch. Had no reception. There was no people around. There were no houses around. There was no shelter aside from the car itself. No signs around. It was just a dirt road in the middle of fucking nowhere. We're looking around what are these properties? Surely there's a house on these properties somewhere. And then we see a sign on one of the fences that says Rio Tinto or something. And so we're like, oh shit.
It's just mining.
All of these properties are hundreds of hectares of just mining company or corporation properties that somewhere in there somewhere is going to be a big mine, and that's about it. And there was no one in between, no houses, no people, no cell service, nothing. And we kind of just debated our options. We knew, okay, worst case scenario, we may have to stay here for a couple of days. We do have water now because the ants were gone. True. We flushed out that, we got new water. So we do have water, plenty of water. And that's why we brought 60 litres, is in case we do get stuck somewhere for a couple of days and we have enough water. We have plenty of food to cook and stuff like that. We can also keep going. Possibly what can happen is the rear left tyre blows up. And then from there we can put the other wheel on and hopefully that can get us closer to civilization. But really we had no idea where we were. Eventually a ranger.
Turn of luck, completely. He just shows up and he's like, hey guys.
But this guy didn't really help, let's be real.
Yeah, he had other shit to do.
Yeah, this ranger pulled up and we were like, hey man, can you help us out? We don't know where we are. How far away is the next town? Our tire's blown up, blah, blah. He's like, okay, well, the roadhouse from here is about 250 k's down the road. So we're like, oh fuck. Driving at 30 kilometers an hour the whole way to stop the tire from blowing up, that's not good. Also listening to the banging rhythmic sound of the fucking thing
would have driven us crazy, even more God. So.
It did. And he did tell us that we were only about a K or so down the road from the pavement before it became paved road. So that was really good. So we're like, okay, we'll just keep driving to the paved road. We did, and eventually we got there and we pulled over at a T intersection where left went to Paraburdoo. And
going forward took us to the Manutara Roadhouse.
Yeah, and then further to Exmouth. Yeah. So Paraburdoo is there. So we pulled over just at the crossroads before Paraburdoo, about 50 k's to the west of Paraburdoo. And our plan was to keep going west until we got to some kind of town where they could replace our tyre or to Exmouth. Then we pulled over and we stopped and we just started pulling out plastic cladding and pulling shit out. And because we had our hazards on and we were pulling shit out and stuff, some amazing person who was a lot more help.
Yeah, someone who just knew the area well and all of that.
Yeah, and they were working at the mines at Paraburdoo and they knew what was going on, and they've passed us, pulled over, and then flipped a Yui and come back up to us and gone, hey, are you guys all right? You need a hand? And checked in on us, which was really good of him.
He gave us the advice to go on to Paraburdoo instead of going to the Roadhouse or anything further than that.
He said if you get to the Roadhouse, there won't be anything there.
Yeah.
Like nothing. And even if you keep going to Exmouth, they're probably not going to have the tyre at all or nothing like that. You're not going to find accommodation or something like that. If you go to Paraburdoo, the mechanic there is either going to have the tyre or going to be able to get it within 24 hours, and you should be able to get accommodation there. We drove at 30 to 50 k's an hour for 50 k's.
Yeah, there was a bloke that drove past us and then pulled up on the side of the road.
He pulled up on oncoming lanes because he was like behind us, so I pulled over to the left to sort of let him pass, and he's pulled up next to us and just gone,
like, you guys all right?
He's like, what's going on? Are you guys okay? Blah, blah. And we're just like, oh yeah, we've just got like a blown tyre. We're just trying to like limp the car about it. And he's like, oh yeah, you're not far off. Do you need any help or blah, blah. Once you see this, you'll know that you're close and shit. Yeah. It was super nice. It was
great.
Literally a godsend. To just have people check up on us was really nice. Eventually we pulled over to rest stop, and this is where I made the next connection, the next theory.
Okay.
We pulled up at this rest stop and we get out, because honestly driving at 30, 50 k's an hour, thinking about the tyre with our hazards on, listening to that banging sound, looking in the rear views and stuff, trying to check if the tyre was blown out or getting worse, and just being annoyed was quite exhausting. So we pull up at a rest stop to chill out for a second, stretch our legs, and we get out, and I'm looking at the tyres and I'm looking at the wheel and stuff, and I look at one side and I look at the other side, and I notice that the wheel arch is hanging, the distance between the top of the wheel and the actual like overhanging wheel arch was really low, like only low enough to probably get my finger through roughly.
Yeah.
And I was like, that seems like a lot, like there must be a lot of weight in the car. And I'm thinking, like, we've got all these tools, these sleeping bags, our clothes, 60 litres of water, 20 litres of fuel, all this food, this 20 kilogram fucking massive battery to charge all our stuff, and filming equipment and everything else in here. There's a lot of weight in the car. That must be hanging the wheel arch down so low that the actual wheel arch, the plastic wheel arch inside, is weighing on the tyre and pressing on the tyre and rubbing it down. That's what's causing the rubber to shred and ruining the tyres. And he's like, oh fuck. I'm like, oh shit. So what we do is we move a lot of the weight, like the really heavy things like just the water and fuel, forward, and we put it towards like behind the back seat, so it's more in the middle of the car, spreading the weight out, which probably did help a lot.
I would say so.
Realistically. Eventually kept driving, went to Paraburdoo, eventually so slowly, pulled into the mechanic just before they were closing.
Explained our situation.
Got in there, the mechanic was a legend.
Yeah, he was a godsend.
He was amazing, and he goes, he just goes, we explained the whole situation, the problem, what we're doing and everything, and he goes, yeah, so your problem isn't weight or nothing, or it's not specifically that. He then explains that those Commodores, we had a 2014 Commodore station wagon, those Commodores aren't made like the old ones used to be. The old ones had leaf springs and were made for carrying a lot of weight. These ones are more family cars, and they're made to be really comfortable on the road and to handle different suspensions. They've got independent rear suspension coils. And what happens when those coils sink too far is you've got essentially your axle, the coil, and then a bar that comes up like this and connects the bottom of the suspension to sort of more in the middle of the axle. So what it was doing was when it was sinking too late, it was pushing out. And so the rear wheels were, the weight on it was pushing the wheels out, creating a negative camber. And so when it pushes the wheels out, all of your weight is on the inner 20 to 50% of the tyre.
And that was just shredding.
And when you've got all of that weight on the inner 20 to 50% of the tyre, it just shreds through the rubber, then through the wire, and then through the tube. And that's what was happening. And we had no idea until we got to the mechanic. The mechanic was like, yep, I'd have the exact tyres you have, or we're going to replace them.
Yeah.
We can do it tomorrow. And it was a fucking Saturday.
Yep, gave us full service and everything.
So happy. They do like 6 or 7 days a week. I think they work 6 days a week.
6 days a week out of 7.
Because it's just literally Paraburdoo is all it is just a little mining town.
Just mining. That's all it is.
All just Rio Tinto accommodation, caravan park, a tiny pub with some motel accommodation, and then a massive mine. And at the time in Paraburdoo, they had some massive thing going on.
There was like some contracting event, so all the other places were just sold out. We couldn't find anywhere to stay.
So everything was sold out. The caravan park was notoriously filled. The motel was fully filled. And what we did is we got the car booked in with him. We were happy about that. He had all the tyres for us. We got him to replace all 4 because you kind of need to, and do a service on the car because it was kind of due. And walked around and basically tried to find accommodation just walking around. And we're like thinking, fuck. In the back of my head, I'm thinking, fuck, what are we going to do if we can't find a place? Like, we're just going to sleep in the car. It's going to be so shit.
I eventually go into the...
This sucks.
I eventually go into the admin of Rio Tinto, just like the dormitories they've got there. I'm just like, hey guys, please, I'm not with Rio or affiliated in any way, but can you just give us like 2 rooms? We just need somewhere to sleep tonight. Like, this is an emergency and all that. Eventually, they worked it out for us, and we were able to get a room each.
And then I'm
nice.
looking around trying to go to the motel and shit. I can't even find the admin's all closed and everything. I'm stressing. I call Dane, and Dane's like, yeah, come down here. I walk into this massive Rio Tinto thingo, reception area and the buffet and stuff. They're like, oh yeah, so we're going to get, we've got this 2 separate rooms for you guys. You can't, because you aren't allowed to have one for 2 people at the mine accommodation.
Just the way the dormitories
It was like $180 or $200.
Yeah, 180, I think.
180 for the night. So we're like, oh fuck, well, it's worth it.
It's all we've got.
Yeah, 180 for the night. We get in. It's just like a bed, a TV, aircon. It's like a little ensuite kind of thing. Pull out some like pasta and sausages that we cooked the night before, because we did manage to get a little bit cooked. Yeah. And just ate a bunch of that. Dane went down to like the pub thing and bought a case of beer. They only sell like a limited standard because you can't drink too much there because it's all just corporate.
I could only buy a case of 3.5% Northern Super Crisps.
Yeah.
So I got us that.
Had some like Netflix playing. Yeah. And we're just drinking and then eating.
Planning out what we're going to do from here on to get home.
By this point, the concerns of money had already been like elevated. Now it's like, fuck, this is going to cost a lot. Oh no, he did tell us how much it was going to be.
He told us the tyres were going to be $1,000.
Yeah, $1,000 for the tyres, then the servicing costs and the labour costs. Yeah. And then the accommodation costs. So we're like, oh shit.
Home time.
This is going to be a lot of money. We ended up spending nearly $2,000 in that day just to get the car fixed. And we didn't have that much left anymore after we'd gone so over budget. And we were thinking like, if we can only make it now, today, 30 or something, or whatever the fuck it's going to be, how are we going to keep going for the rest of the trip? Like, we're going to have to ask and borrow money. Like, we can't borrow that much money. We can't, it's not worth it.
And also just because the weight issue isn't something we can exactly fix.
That was another massive problem, was all of, like, we can cut out the water a lot, especially since we're not going back to the country, so it's a lot safer. So we can cut out, like, a good amount of the water and move things around a little bit, but still, there is so much weight on the car. Yeah. And moving things around, taking things out, you can still see how much weight is on those tires, and it was still a lot. And we were just like, theoretically, we're going to get to a certain point, if we keep going, we're going to get to a certain point halfway through the trip or earlier where we're going to run out of money, and we're going to need to ask our family members and stuff to borrow money. And then, like,
just bail us out, essentially.
My mum had said, if you ever need like any help or something like that, that's okay. Like, she'll help me out. This was a different situation. Like, we can't voluntarily keep going to a point that I need to ask her for money. Yeah. That's just abusing it.
It's irresponsible.
And on top of that, it's like, if the car does crap itself and the tires crap themselves again, fuck, that's a lot of money, and I'm gonna be in debt for that. And then when I get back, I've got to fucking move house again and do all these other shit. Like, we both have rent to pay and stuff. So what do we do? And we went, okay, it was a difficult decision, but it came quickly.
Yeah, it was.
We just went, okay, we're going to
came
have
out
to
of necessity.
turn around. We're going to have to essentially beeline it home, which we didn't do. We said we would beeline it home, but we
didn't yet.
Our plan was we would go straight out to the coast and not leave the fucking coast. And then we would follow the coast all the way down to Perth. And then from Perth we would go, so we were here. Then we would basically go straight out and then all the way down to Perth. And then from Perth we would pretty much beeline at home. But we decided that we would also go Perth to Esperance because Esperance we heard was beautiful and
absolutely just white beaches.
It's not
gorgeous.
too far out of the way in its coastline. And we're like, okay, let's do that. We were both really keen on going here. That pin is exactly Margaret River. We were both really keen on that. I had a plan for Dane that I was going to pay for us to go for a massive wine tour. That was going to be his birthday present because both of our birthdays were on the trip. But we had to kind of skip that. So unfortunately we didn't get to do this part, which I think would have been really amazing. But
yeah,
too much money, too much time. Esperance
to Norseman.
And there's essentially we'd go Norseman, which is about there, and then from Norseman here.
Norseman to Sejuna to Broken Hill to home.
We were thinking more Broken Hill to Goondiwindi or Texas, where I had some friends that were going to be there.
Yeah.
But because we beelined it so fast and we drove so many Ks so quickly, we were actually too early for them.
And we were also just like, fuck it, I want to go home.
And we just went, we'll go Broken Hill to home. So that was the plan. It was 6,000 Ks. We were planning on doing it in maximum 7 days, more like 6.
Yeah, we did it in 6 days.
Or 7 days. So 6,000 Ks, 7 days, that's a lot of Ks. From here on out, now that we had planned to go home, things got a lot lighter. So much less stress. And also we'd gone south again, so the weather got so much better.
That night...
We figured things out. We weren't worried.
That night after we picked up the car, it was actually kind of chilly when we were sleeping.
It actually got kind of cold from there on out.
It was so nice.
It was really nice.
So nice.
And it was annoying, actually, how nice it was now that we decided we were going to go home.
Yeah.
Because we just didn't have the money to keep going because we weren't planning on... we knew things were going to go wrong. We knew there was bound to be some breakdowns or something.
Yeah.
But what we didn't realize was how much money we'd spend on everything else, reducing how much money we had for contingencies and to keep going. Knowingly we went in under budget in the first place.
Yeah.
But we just, at some point, we just had to go, fuck it, we're just gonna have to go. We're just gonna have to start the trip. Because if we don't do it now, we're not gonna do it at all.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we did when we started, and that's why it was kind of doomed from the get-go. That night we drank, we planned the trip, and we just sat around half sad and half just relaxed and almost like a weight had been lifted off.
It was just acceptance at that point.
Yeah, and yeah, it was alright.
Yeah, day 16 I had a nice sleep in, then we just absolutely hit the buffet up.
I got up nice and early and I had to drop the car off. I dropped it off as soon as the mechanics opened because obviously I wanted to get on the road straight away.
Yeah.
I knew they were going to spend a couple hours on it. Then I packed up all my stuff. We had no idea what time we had to check out of the place, or the Rio Tinto accommodation, so I got all my stuff out and I checked out of the place and I asked them what time we had to check out.
7.
And they said that we had to check out at 7 a.m. and it was now 8 a.m. or something like that. And I was like, oh shit. And they were like, don't worry, it's okay. You're all good. No one else is coming into booked out the room.
They didn't care.
They were like, yeah, it's all good. I went up to Dane's place. We hung out there for a little bit, and then eventually he packed his stuff and checked out of his room. They didn't charge us anything extra, which is really good. And they let us hang out in the
common area.
In the common area where they had a huge buffet. We didn't know at the time
that it was all you could eat. It was included.
It was an all you can eat buffet included in the accommodation. So $180 for the room per night wasn't just for the room.
It was for food as well. It
was for all of the food you could shove in your gob.
But yeah.
But so we had the other stuff to eat anyway. We had to eat that.
Yeah.
So we ate a fuck ton of bunch of food and had some coffee and stuff and...
Waiting around until the car was ready. The car was ready. We got it back at midday. As soon as we get back into the car, I open up the glove box of the car just to get something else out. And what falls out but the Bundaberg sticker that we lost on day 2 at the Bundaberg distillery. And it's just there, and we're amazed, and we're over the moon, and it's the perfect just sort of get back into let's do this thing, let's go home, let's drive like hell.
It was great. Yeah, we lost that Bundaberg sticker so long ago.
And there were so many points where we were just like, where the hell is this Bundaberg sticker?
We were looking for it everywhere and we couldn't find it, and somehow the mechanic who serviced our car found the sticker, somehow.
Just put it in
And
there.
put it in the glove box. So Dane opens the glove box, and on his lap, Bundaberg sticker. We were so happy. Like, yeah, we had to can the trip, and we were sad about that, and I was a little bit angry about having to can it all, but we were doing what we could, and we were really happy. We had high spirits from there on out.
Yeah.
That was really good. And there's a spiel that I wrote from the previous day, about that night, about how we finished the trip. I want to read. I said, "It's ridiculous that after more than 2 fucking years of planning, I would still go into this ridiculous trip so underprepared. I overworked myself in an environment that got me nothing and cost me a hell of a lot more. I couldn't save enough money fast enough, I didn't dedicate enough time into research, and I overestimated our physical and mental dexterity. For the rest of the night, we drank, planned our trip home, watched Netflix, and relaxed."
Yeah.
So that's a little part that was just my thoughts. I was just annoyed at myself, and I felt at one point we talked about it, I wrote about it in here, but at one point, this is when we were heading to Paraburdoo.
Yeah.
So the wheel had broken down. We still didn't know what the actual cause was. We just had our suspicions. Regardless of how shit this situation was, we still managed to stay in relatively high spirits. The worst thing was that because we couldn't pinpoint exactly what caused the tyre to shred in the first place, though we did have our suspicions, both of us felt guilty about the situation we put ourselves and each other in. I remember you saying like, "Oh, I shouldn't have been driving this fast over this," or "Oh, blah blah."
Yeah, because I was driving on the corrugated road.
And I remember saying, "Oh, I shouldn't have been speeding so much in the Northern Territory, going so fast, because that was a problem." And we were both kind of blaming ourselves for this tyre issue.
Yeah.
Really, it was just my fault. Because we just made an impulsive decision to switch the car.
Yeah.
And we didn't do enough research on it. I wrote here, while I was sitting in Dane's room, "Nothing is more shameful than planning a massive trip, talking about said trip, publishing it on every different social media platform, starting a podcast about it, and making important life choices because of the restrictions or requirements of making the trip happen, and then getting 1/6 of the way through before failing. I mean, it's worse than that. We didn't even make it a week before we genuinely debated turning around.
Yeah.
After 2 years of planning, we still weren't prepared. I guess I'm realizing now that you can plan everything, even the smallest details you can think of, as many contingency plans as you want. But preparation is a whole different practice. We first failed this trip when we decided to postpone it for a year, because we knew we weren't prepared enough and we were running out of time. Then we failed again when we decided to cut out the middle of Queensland on only the 10th day. Then we failed again when we had to divert to Paraburdoo, spend $2,000 on servicing to do tyres, and made the decision to head straight home.
Yeah.
We should and could have done a lot better, and I couldn't be more disappointed in myself. Everything in the last 2 years has led up to this point. Yes, I'm being harsh on myself, but regardless of the fact that we can, but regardless of the fact we have, but regardless of that fact, we have to can, we have to can the rest of the trip. Yeah, that's how that's meant to be read.
For real.
Regardless of that fact, we have to can the rest of the trip. It was a long series of my own choices that got us in this situation in the first place. So yeah, at this point I was feeling very, very guilty about us not completing this trip, and reflecting on all of my choices of the last 2 years that I've been thinking about the trip in the back of my mind for, and in turn fucking messing shit up because of the trip. But I think from memory, regardless of how shit I felt about that and how guilty I felt about that, because it was a really, really difficult thing to sort of like accept. We've been working for this moment to complete the trip for 2 years, and everything's kind of led up to doing this. I think regardless of all that, we were still in pretty good spirits.
Yeah. We were definitely driven by just the prospect of, holy shit, we see our girlfriend in a week.
We're going to go home and stuff, and also like things were getting better and more comfortable, and we weren't stressed.
Day 17 heading into Perth. I did the first stint of driving, just headed south. A lot of it from here was just gunning it the whole way home, and I really, really enjoyed that drive.
Yeah, we weren't following this anymore. So Dane booked the hotel in Perth, which was a banging hotel actually. We had a balcony. We basically just put our stuff down and then went, fuck it, let's go. And we just went, let's do like a pub crawl around Perth, exploring Perth, get some drinks, get some food. And we walked around for a little bit on the water, watching the sunset over it. And it was a monumental thing was to just see the sunset in Perth. Eventually we walked back and
Got a good sleep.
got a real good sleep.
I did the drive out of Perth, which was really lovely because as soon as you come out of Perth, you're straight into National Park and National Forest.
So what our plan was on this day, this is day 18 now.
Yeah.
Yeah, the plan was I would sleep for as long as I possibly can. Dane would drive for like the whole morning.
Yeah.
Until he got tired, and then we would swap in and out a little bit until it got to like the
Sort of
afternoon.
dusk even.
Yep, dusky time. And then I would just take over the driving from there, and I would drive into the night for as long as I can before I go to sleep. And that plan worked really well, actually, like splendidly well. And so Dane drove all the way out of Perth. I woke up a little bit here and there. And from Esperance, we were like, I mean, this place is beautiful. Dane walked down to the clock tower towards like the port and stuff, and I walked the other way through the town and over to the museum. Eventually, I think we actually gave ourselves 30 minutes.
Literally, we did. We were just like, see you in 30.
We said, okay, we'll be back at the car at sync watches up. We'll be back in the car at 2:45. I think I drove from there for the rest of the night, which was about 11 hours because we finished that night at 1 a.m. the next day, which was 3 a.m. in that time zone, and we crossed 2 time zones. So what happened was we drove from Esperance to this, like the Great Australian Bight, and we slept right there on this little lookout, which was like just a rest stop there at the Bight. And that drive for the whole day went from about, I would say, 7 a.m. in WA time zone to 1 a.m. in WA time zone, which was actually 3 a.m.
In South Australia.
By 9 p.m, we had been in the car listening to music for over 13 or 14 hours already. I started talking to Dane.
We're having all of these conversations on the longest straight section of the Nullabore Plains.
The longest straight road in Australia. So we talked about different top 10 lists, top 10 celebrities, top 10 movies.
TV shows.
Top 10 TV shows, top 10 movies, top 10
Cars.
cars. I thought it would be kind of funny to ask him about like his top 10 favorite fuels, because who has a top 10 favorite fuels? I asked him and he was like, oh yeah, so I'd probably go with, and he was like, and so,
Hey, I was ready.
and then it talked about just chemistry in general and his university studies, and then we're talking about atoms and quarks and shit, and we were talking about
Crazy space shit.
well over 1,000 k's driven that day.
We pull up at our rep stop, woke up the next morning at maybe 8. Dylan was still asleep, so of course I'm just going to let him sleep. I go for myself, just a little walk around, eat some of the fruit that we have sitting in the car. Just go for a little explore, wake myself up before I do the driving, and then the whole goal of that day was just get the hell out of South Australia and make it to Broken Hill, and we'll see Taryn.
He would give us a bed to sleep on that night and catch up with us a little bit. It was a boring day. It was another good maybe 12, 11 hours of driving that day as well.
That was a big one.
And so it was like 2 really, really long days in a row. 19 hours and like 11 hours back to back or something along those lines. It was exhausting, especially once the sun got down and we were just like eyeballing the sides of the roads, making sure that every bush is a bush, not a goat that's going to run out in front of us. We got to Taryn, and what I noticed when we caught up with our old mate Taryn from school and we were talking to him about the trip and catching up with him, is I didn't know how to hold a conversation anymore. I'd lost all social skills. Because all I'd talked to for the last 20 days was Dane.
This guy.
And it was just brain rot and complaining about the trip and
Yeah.
just him. And so like another person was like,
How do I do this?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And I was also so exhausted and so tired.
We were not in any position to
I just let Dane do the
properly
talking. I was just like,
socializing.
hey Taryn.
Hey man.
Yeah.
But yeah, day 20 we woke up. We're in Broken Hill. Taryn's, he leads us to where he works and he gives us a bit of a tour around the hangars because he works with planes and a few helicopters. We wished
It was
him
really
well.
cool. We got to sit in the plane.
We did. We got cracking.
So our idea was like we were going to go to Goondiwindi or Texas, where we were going to have some friends there that were out and we could stay with them that night and then move on back home. But the problem was we'd actually skipped a day or two in here because we'd gone so far for the last 2 days. They actually hadn't been out there yet. So I thought, okay, well, or we can still kind of stay in one place or go camping somewhere on the way home. Or I was more keen on just, fuck it, let's go home.
Yeah, you mentioned
just go straight home.
You mentioned that at the start of the day and I was sort of against it. But just like as we kept driving and getting closer, I was just, yeah, we can just make it. Let's just go home.
So yeah, we left Broken Hill at maybe like 9 or something after we'd done that. And we're like, oh, we...
Yeah, so we made it through the town.
At least we were heading towards Goondiwindi and then we'd see what would happen from there.
Yeah, we got through Cobar, we got through Wilcannia, we got through Ningen. We kept going on. We got to this small town. We stopped at a servo there. Dylan bought a new phone mount that he immediately threw out the window.
Did I?
Yeah, you remember the little magnet shit?
The little tiny one that didn't stick to anything.
Work.
Generally from Broken Hill to Goondiwindi, we'd done that route before. We should be on like main highways. We should know that route. But for some reason, we'd kind of taken some weird turn off that we didn't really pay attention to. And now we were going down like weird outback routes, and we didn't bother
we fell into the Google Maps trap. We should have just stuck to the main
We
highways.
just didn't really bother to check because we were just like, it'll be right. We'll trust Google Maps. First rule of Fight Club.
Yeah.
Don't trust Google Maps. And we, for some reason, just kept going, it'll be fine, it'll be fine. And eventually, as it was getting darker, it started to sort of rain lightly.
Yeah.
And then it just kept raining all afternoon, and we just were going between these weird towns, and we were on these highways that weren't highways. They were just two tiny little lanes that were technically highways, unfenced properties on either side where cattle would walk over and stuff.
Yeah.
And they weren't actually really highways, but they were classified as them. So we were on these weird roads and we didn't know where we were going, and we thought all we knew was we were kind of heading towards Moree. We got to a town, pulled over, and for some reason, instead of there was a sign that goes Moree, and then there's another road, and that road goes...
Yeah, so you go either up to Mungandai and then across to Goondiwindi, or you go across to Moree and then up to Goondiwindi.
Right.
So Maps was like, oh, it's going to be so much quicker if
it's
you
a
go
shorter
up
distance.
to Mungandai and then across to Goondiwindi. But it was fucking not.
So it had been kept raining for a couple hours now, and we take the up to Mungandai route, and it's getting dark now. We're driving 90 k's, even though it's a 100k zone, and we pass a sign, and the sign says something like, as we're passing at 90 k's, I don't read it fully, but I see something like wet weather only, or dry weather only, and
not suitable for wet conditions.
5 meters or less after that sign at 90 k's an hour, we hit not dirt, mud. Because it had been raining for hours this afternoon, we hit pure mud.
And we just slide.
Dane didn't really realize what was happening because
not at all.
We start sliding. I'm like, oh fuck! I'm trying to like control the car and shit. I'm losing control. The rear end is sliding out. Dane says something, and I turn the music down. And he's like looking around. He's like, and he slowly starts realizing.
Yeah.
And then we start sliding out, and we just end up across in a ditch. So these dirt roads are like a hill like that. And we just sort of slid off the side, and we start going fully sideways. There's a fence, there's trees and shit. Yeah. I'm in my head thinking, fuck, we're gonna wrap this car around a tree and die. We're going 90 k's an hour. We slid, no like brakes, no acceleration, no nothing, just pure, no friction for about 100 meters until we ended up stopping in the side in a ditch. I think Dane was a little bit confused and still.
Yeah, honestly, the first thing that went through my head, because before we'd hit that road, we were playing a game where it was like, oh, try not to talk or try not to say X words or whatever. Yeah. You started talking and I was literally going to say, oh, that's a point to me. And then I realized what the fuck was happening.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, Dylan doesn't have control of the car right now and we are sliding somewhere.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And when we opened the doors and we actually stepped out, and then we were like, oh, we are so fucked. We just looked at each other. We were just like, oh, fucking no. It's like 9 p.m. We're in the middle of fucking nowhere and we're stuck in the mud. We are so fucked.
Yeah.
So fucked. So we're like, oh shit. So we immediately got our jackets out of the back. We immediately got our boots on and shit. We go back in the car and we tried to like floor it out. We tried this for a long time.
Yeah, that wasn't getting this far.
Essentially all that was happening was because it was still raining, it was getting heavier. And all that was happening was, we were usually just sticking on that. So it was like a mound, and we were usually just sticking like this. as the front was facing this way on the hill, we were just sliding like this.
Yeah.
If we could get on top flat on the sort of...
We didn't have any way to turn or control our turn.
Then we would either fall off on one side or another, or we couldn't turn around or go a different direction or something. We couldn't control which way the car went. And our shoes we were getting in and out of the car. We were using rescue tracks to try and get traction to go up the car. Every time we used rescue tracks, the tracks would get buried within like, I think it was about 4 inches of mud.
Carrying those things sometimes
we would
was
lose.
Horrible.
They were so heavy. Everything was caked in inches and inches, like kilograms of mud.
Yeah.
I'd drive over the rescue tracks, get some traction, get up to a certain point, stop, turn around. The rescue tracks were gone. Dane couldn't find them. I couldn't find them. We had to like dig around, pressing on the ground, trying to find the rescue tracks.
So stupid.
Because they were just under the ground.
Every single groove of the track was just filled with mud. Like before we put them back in the car, we literally just had to scrape out all the mud.
Everything around the wheels, all the tires had an extra full layer of mud. Our shoes had a full moon boot of mud around them, and underneath them we had extra like
that was
2
horrid.
inches of mud underneath it. The gas pedal was caked up with mud the rest of the trip.
Yeah.
Everything was covered in mud, the inside of the car and all of our stuff and all of our clothes. It was so bad. I think for about an hour and a half, or maybe an hour, we tried trying to get out, and at some point we decided that, or I thought that we couldn't turn around because I couldn't fucking steer the car, but we could kind of get further. So at this point we'd already gotten like, I don't know, 30-20 meters forward, like away from the pavement where we came off, and I was like, maybe we just keep going down the mud and eventually we get off and we just keep going like this.
Yeah.
We're trying to like use a reception, trying to check the bomb. The bomb was saying it was going to rain until 3 a.m.
Yeah, reception was extremely patchy as well.
We tried to keep driving down the road, and then eventually we ended up just facing the fence, like windscreen to the fence.
Yeah.
On the other side of the road. Nowhere to go. We couldn't move the car. We were like, this is fucked. And we just stopped. And
we were just stuck.
I got out and went to walk to try and find a good spot with a reception. I have RACQ, like ultimate care package for this trip, and so I thought, okay, maybe they'll be able to send someone like a tow out and they can get us out of here. And so I called RACQ and they said they spent about 15 minutes trying to figure out where we were, and then once they did, they called their country service, and their country service didn't answer.
Not at all.
So then they called us back and they said, hey, so unfortunately we can't get a hold of anyone out there, so we can't help you. I paid a lot of money for that, like $300 or some shit for nothing. Your best bet is to probably call the police or something. And they also said that even if they could send a tow out, it would be at our own cost.
Which is ridiculous.
Which is fucking ridiculous for having the ultimate care. What is the fucking point of it? Then we called the police. The police spent over 30 minutes trying to figure out where I am. The police, who were meant to respond to emergency situations, spent 30 minutes trying to figure out where I am. The reasoning was because we couldn't give them a close enough crossroads.
Yeah. Because there was no crossroads.
Because the last crossroads was 28 kilometers back in town, and they were like, oh, there are no other ones. We're like, no, we don't fucking know where we are. You have our GPS. They sent me a link to my phone. I click the link and it gives them an exact longitude and latitude down to like 8 or more decimal places. So they have like us within 10 meters or something on GPS. Then they tried to contact their service out there and no one was answering. No. There were no police on, essentially. Like, I had explained to the dispatcher so many times what our situation was, and I explained to him, you know, if you send someone out, make sure that they have a forward drive or they won't be able to do anything, or they're going to get stuck as well. And he was like, oh, okay, yeah. Like, as if he didn't understand in the first place that you needed a forward drive. And like, what were you think we were asking to get from you?
And then, of course, they never showed up.
And then
never at all.
The police, we waited around for ages. So once we'd called the police and RSCQ couldn't help, the police said that they actually didn't say that they couldn't get someone out. They said, we will send out the next available unit. Go sit back in the car.
Whilst Dylan was making calls, I'd walked up to the actual sealed part of the road and...
some random guy.
Yeah, there was just someone who lived in the area. They drove along, so I spoke to them for a little while. He gave us the same advice, that call the police, call RACQ, see what you can do. But otherwise just waited out until the morning and go from there. So he was nice to see. It was comforting to actually see someone else using the road, at least.
He couldn't offer us any support, and he couldn't pull our car out because it was too muddy for him even.
Yeah.
He, agreed with us, that sign, that we can now read that sign. It said, dry weather road only, fines may exceed $10,000. If the police had come out there, they legally apparently could have fined us $10,000 for using the road while it was muddy, when there was no fucking signage or lighting to tell us that beforehand.
Yeah, so we sat back in the car. I was literally I had no words or anything. I was just playing a game on my phone. I was just done.
I started recapping over the trip, and then eventually we saw more lights in the distance.
Yeah, so we didn't realise, but the rain had stopped and a bunch of winds had kicked up, and that was actually drying out the mud, which was so
By this
much in
point
our
it would have
favour.
been about 11:30.
Yeah.
About 11:30 p.m. So we'd been there for a good amount of time, just struggling.
And then we turn to look out the window, and there's just these massive lights, blinding lights, and I'm like, oh, that must be the police.
The
Surely
police
they're
are
here
here.
for us.
Oh yes.
So we both get up out of the car and walk our way down.
Or
Not the police.
caked. We're like moon boots stomping
Yeah.
through the mud. The lights, though, that we thought might have been the police.
We realised it was definitely a lot bigger than any sort of car or
and we could see
4x4 even.
lights, the orange lights on the side, and we realised there's a truck there, and we're like, fuck, what's happened here? And so we get up to him, and we have a little chat.
They were hauling AC/DC's backline, so all of their drums, guitars, everything from their Adelaide show to their Brisbane show, which was only in a few nights. So they fell victim to the Google Maps skip.
We then were like, all right. We reversed the car out, and then I ended up in the other side of the ditch. And then I
we
tried to
got
go
out of
forward.
that ditch.
I tried to go forward, and I ended up just going sideways, and then I couldn't go anywhere. And then Dane he was outside directing, and he was trying to
I
help.
had the
and
tracks
he
out
was
as
moving,
well,
He was moving tracks
putting those
and
around.
carrying them around and shit. And I'm trying to get in and out, trying to dig mud out. We had the shovel out, the little
we
tiny
did.
camping shovel, and we're trying to dig mud off the tires and dig out the mud and shit
Yeah,
everywhere.
because as much as it was caking on our boots, it was caking on the tyres the same way.
And there was just no traction. And I kept just sliding sideways or going up and then straight over to the other side and then sliding or not going anywhere.
But we were making progress as much as we were falling into
really
ditches.
slowly. And then eventually I realized that every time I let off the accelerator a bit, lost momentum, and let the car's body weight control where we were going, I lost all control over steering the car at all.
Yeah.
And so at some point, without telling Dane at all,
Yeah, you were
I
just hey, fuck off.
I just went, oh, momentum, and just fucking floored the car. And
Yeah.
I went literally probably about 45-degree
I
angle
was just
the
running.
entire
I was
way.
just running along with you, essentially, just being like, "No, you want to go over there? There's the tracks." And eventually, you did make it into it, which was so good.
I was literally just gunning the car as fast as I could.
Oh, I felt so happy as soon as we were out of that.
And for some reason it worked. I was actually on the road now, and I'd gotten 100 meters down. I turned around, Dane was all the way back there, running. And I was I just yelled out, I was like, sorry, I
had an idea.
I was sorry, I just needed the momentum. And he was like, let's go. Dane and I were just screaming for joy. It was the best feeling ever.
It was just...
Because we thought, we're going to be... At that point, we thought we're going to be there until, it
At
dries
least
up
the
until the
morning.
morning. Because we thought it was going to rain until 3 a.m. And so we thought we were fucked. And when we finally got out, after being stuck there for so long, we were so, so happy.
Yeah, so you did a little bit more driving just to get us on our way towards Moree, but you were cooked.
We also had so much mud under the car every now and then we could hear the mud fall off. You can't underestimate how dirty the car was and we were. It was horrible.
Oh, God.
It was a really bad feeling. And there was mud all over everything, our shoes. It just sucked. And all over the pedals. I had to get a shovel and scrape off the pedals. Yeah, it was really good. I drove for about an hour until just the exhaustion of all of that whole situation took over. And I pulled over and was like, I don't know if you have energy or not, but I'm taking a nap.
And I had energy, I was well into a good second wind. I drove us all the rest of Moree, I got
Which
both
is
of us
a
to have
miracle.
food, and then you just went straight back to sleep.
Yeah,
and I did some crazy driving all the way up from Moree to Goondiwindi, just going up the hills and everything, just following trucks.
And I just
whole
slept
way.
the entire time. We got some food at Moree, I think.
Yeah, we did.
And hung out there for a minute.
Yeah, I was
paper.
committed. I wanted to get home, and I just wanted to keep driving and keep moving forward. Got to Millmerran, just a rest stop there. The sun was starting to rise, so it was time to just take a break. Took a good break for about an hour. You eventually woke up yourself.
I remember waking up. That was Millmerran where I woke up.
Yeah, it was at a rest stop, so not quite in the town.
I remember waking up and just being like, where the fuck am I? Like, what the fuck is going on? And then you'd be like, oh yeah, we're like 2 hours away from home, whatever the fuck it was. I was like, what?
Yeah, man.
No way.
And then
I was like, surely he's like fallen asleep or something, and we're just
right.
like, surely he's pulled up like at just some random rest stop still in New South Wales and just fallen asleep.
And then still, I drove for another hour to get us to Pittsworth, and then we stopped there
Yeah,
fully.
oh,
You let
yeah, that
yourself
makes sense.
wake up fully.
Then yeah, that's where I was like, that's what I'm talking about, Pittsworth.
And then I was just like, I'm done. Dylan, get us home.
Yeah, when I woke up from that at Pittsworth, I was like, fuck yeah, I was re-energized, I was good.
I was like a zombie in that car. Like, we were trying to film like the last little bits of like, oh, we're coming to the end of the trip. This is the last bit of the drive. And I was like,
This is the last final excerpt from the journal. I only woke up intermittently. Once in Moree where we got fuel and food, and again in Millmerran where Dane stopped to go to the bathroom. Eventually Dane woke me up around 6 a.m, around 2 hours from home, so I could drive the rest of the way. In the last stint of driving for the trip, we added our spotter counts together and found out we were completely even. So the rest of the trip was all out spotter war. In the last 45 minutes, I was well ahead, and we started discussing the trip, how we felt about it, and would we do it again. Dane was all on the glass half full optimistic side, that everything had been worth it and for the experience, even if it was a bad one. I explained to Dane that this whole trip had been nothing but lessons, that if I could have gone back 2 years ago and never decided to do this trip in the first place, I would in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
The trip cost me just about everything I could give it. Almost all of my choices, important life choices, were based on making the trip happen, and while we did have some great experiences, we got 15 days in before we had to turn around and come home. 15 days out of what should have been a 90-day trip. It took 10,000 kilometers before we broke down twice, and that's only mechanically.
Good little add-on there.
And in the first 10 days, we were already struggling to stay on track with our budget. The travel may be a positive, but is a very dim light next to all the other pain and horrible days, and most importantly, missed opportunities. Not all travel is good travel. It depends on how you do it. It depends where and what route you do it, and it depends who you do it, who with, and for what purpose. We parked outside Dane's house, unpacked his stuff, and recorded our final recap. Once I had sort of gotten home and relaxed and showered, and I opened up the journal again and wrote, I felt a little bit better about it all. And I said in the journal, and I stand by this, even though I was very annoyed on the trip and very upset about not completing the trip, I said, I'm not disappointed that I gave the trip a go. I feel like you have to do that. You have to just say fuck it sometimes and give it a shot. If shit goes wrong, then oh well, but at least you've tried, and there's no shame in trying. I don't hate or regret the fact that I had a crazy idea to do the big things thing in the first place, even though I did say that I hate and regret the fact that I had an idea to do the big things thing in the first place. But I do regret a lot of choices I made along the way. This is everything I think went majorly wrong. Now, I won't talk in depth as I did in here, but the main things were the plan and the preparation were the two biggest things. That really sums everything up, the plan and the preparation. But that's a bit of a broad spectrum. The plan, in terms of we didn't have it in depth planned out into the more important things, and we also had it too strict and too overkill that we couldn't move around enough and couldn't
and even
stretch.
Just having it so particular added stress to every single day.
Everything was, you have to be on schedule, and everything was stressful, and there was nothing in there that we thought this is what we want to look forward to day to day or week to week even. So there was it was ruining us mentally. It was exhausting us quickly, and we couldn't keep up with that. The other part of the plan was the equipment we took, and the other part of the preparation was the car that we took and the equipment that we took and the practice that we had with that equipment and the practice that we had in that situation and environment and that heat and the suits. And on top of that, the last part of that planning and preparation was the research that we did into the car and the planning and the suits and the heat and the food and the money and all of those kinds of things.
Just kept compounding.
Like, I think personally, I learnt so much from the trip.
100%.
So much, not just about like Australia, the history of the country, and traveling, but just about myself, my priorities, what I want. The trip really taught me a lot more about that than I thought it would. But what annoys me the most about it, and the most about us not completing it, isn't that we missed out on a bunch of shit, or isn't that we wasted so much time, it's that so many people told me I wouldn't do it. So many people told me, you're gonna fail. You are going to fail. That's not going to work. Good luck. Give me all that sarcasm.
And the
bullshit.
Dylan that wants to prove everybody wrong.
And I was always arguing with those people. I always argued with them, and now not only have I proved them right, but I feel bad that I argued with them.
Yeah. Anyways, trip was fucked. That's my thoughts on it. I want to stop recording this podcast now.
It's been a long time.
It's been a while. See you in 10 years.
It'd be 9 now.
It would be, actually.